Now Yippee comes out and that is it. 3 kills.
Don't worry about Blur. Blur has replicated Bash and has gone the other way around. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Buffalo Cup Finals. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back here for the biggest matchup, or at least one of the closest matchups we've gotten to see in South African Overwatch for a while. We got to see them a couple of weeks ago, and it was myself, Ultraism, and my wonderful Sun Phoenix who managed to bring it to you then. And how excited are you for tonight, Sun Phoenix?
I am so excited. You know, I put out a tweet saying this is going to be a good one. And I think that's exactly what I'm expecting. These two teams have been, you know, working their way through the Buffalo Cup. They faced each other before in their group stage matchup. Of course, you know, Beasty Boys again took that one, but there was a draw in that one on Umbani. It was a seriously close affair with these two teams kind of clashing with similar play styles, relying on team play more than just explosive mechanics, as we've seen be so prevalent in South African Overwatch in the past. So that's what I'm most excited to see from this match this evening. Obviously, to crown ourselves a Buffalo Cup champion, to see who's going to take home that 1,500 Rand for P1, but also excited to see, you know, the new breed of Overwatch players in South Africa. I mean, obviously in this match, there's not going to be any brand new players per se, except for maybe one or two, but it's been dominated, the local scene, by Beasty Boys for the longest time, and then by ATK before that, and even then Beasty Boys were coming in second most of the time. So Beasty Boys are out of the tournament, at least the original Beasty Boys is, and to see who is going to take their spot at the top of South African Overwatch, that is always exciting to see the paradigm shift play out like that.
I love that. And I think you've really hit the nail on the head there. The fact that this Beastie Boys Agane side, the team that we're getting to see tonight, was for a long time seen as the academy team. I mean, you and I referenced it a lot of the time, was just that these were the second string side that were the young guys that they had scouted out and had started training up, and getting to see the fact that this Beastie Boys Agane side is now the ones coming in through that upper bracket and then coming now into this grand finals feeling so good about themselves. They did come through the upper bracket, right?
Beastie Boys again came to the upright.
Yeah, right. So exactly, this academy team, this team that of youngsters that were unproven and were like, all right, now you're getting a chance at the big stage. They're here, they're in the grand finals versus Enigma, like you say, and neither of these teams has dominated South African Overwatch.
No.
I mean, it's so wonderful to see these guys who've now made, like, I mean, Enigma is still a stacked lineup. They've been around for a while in terms of the names and the plays that are coming out there. Jelly Doodle, infamous on the Cassidy now. Just like the plays that work, the plays that almost work. Toxin Socks has been like, he's in so many of our highlight reels in terms of the Lucio boops, etc. on Kings Row. I mean, these are big names versus the new names with all of a brand new stage set.
Yeah, and of course, the Beastie Boys again are not a new bunch of players per se. You look at most of the players on the team and you go, oh, this is a standout from this team, a standout from this team, but always teams that were a cut below the absolute top tier. So kind of bringing in the best players from a bunch of great teams who never quite, you know, hit that upper echelon, and putting them all together as a squad. And I mean, you can see what that brings. They beat Beastie Boys, as you say, the quote-unquote parent team, if you want to call this one an academy team, but they're not really an academy team, right? The students have become the master now. They are carrying the torch for the Beastie Boys brand, so to speak. So this is a team with a lot of players who we would always look at on whatever team and be like, that guy or girl is a superstar. They've got potential. I'm looking especially at guys like Kiri, you know, who has been a standout for Dynacore Gaming for the whole of last year pretty much, and earlier this year, and moving now to a squad with some really strong supporting cast. He's able to shine in a big way. Stalker, formerly of 2CP, you know, which makes up now most of Enigma, a one of the strongest up and coming main tanks, you know, throughout the history, but unfortunately second place to or third place to BC Boys and ATK in the past. Now with a strong squad around him, able to push themselves to the finals. And there's so many players on both or on BC Boys again who have never had the opportunity to really excel because they never had the squads around them who could really push them forward. And if we take a look at this Beastie Boys again squad here, as I said, Stalker, Amali, formerly of the main Beastie Boys squad, Trizzle, a player you know very well, Altruism. I'm sure formerly as part of TSG, spent some time on team gaming alongside Newt Newt on the flex support. Kiri, I've already mentioned, a standout, probably the player to watch in the series, in my opinion. And then we've got Smiley, formerly of Rage Quit Odyssey fame, spent a little bit of time on Evo, I think, as well. So lots and lots of strong players here with something to prove. Legacy, sorry. Lots of strong players with something to prove. I'm excited to see if they're able to take the fight to Enigma this evening. Well, again, if they're able to beat them again this evening. Sorry, I keep forgetting. This team is like a proven entity now, right?
Right, I think we've just gotten so used to them being the underdogs or the unproven force, that dark horse coming into the tournament, that we've been like, right, we want to see how far they can push this. And
Mm-hmm.
like you say, big plays from individual players. Kiri being able to get 3 or 4 kills in a sweep, Newt being able to hit big anti-heal grenades in critical timings. I know that played a couple of team fights in their favor, especially in the
Yes.
Bounty last week. Stalker having really good initiation and having that synergy with Mali in the front lines. Smiley consistently being able to get off risky reses and some other like really nice tempo controlling plays, and Trizzle putting in lots of damage. This is a team that is actually, for the first time, really coming in as the favorites, I would say, in this. Not clear favorites. Please don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't say that they are here to win, but they've been undefeated in this tournament. Like they came
Uh,
through the upper bracket, at
yes.
least in the bracket stage, right?
Yes.
So like they are coming in very strong. Let's take a look though at what they're up against here, because Enigma, this is a team that we have seen actually for, I would say, a longer period of time. You've got Vertigo. You know, she's renowned as this peel tank, this ability
Mm-hmm.
to just cover from your players around it. Toxin Socks, we talked about having some influential plays. Jelly Doodle has always been a solid DPS player there, being able to control high grounds. And I'm interested to see what Neko can do, is this sub in here. And then, of course, bringing up the front line, Blur, the somewhat aggressive tank at times, but making those impact plays to break into a defensive or a hesitant front line of your opponents really
Mm-hmm.
can open up the opportunities for everyone else to work. And so Enigma comes down to they play their team comps well. And like you said earlier, though, both of these teams are going to do it. And it's going to be how they disrupt that synergy that has been built up for so long from these two teams.
Yeah, it is. That for me is going to be the key here. How do you sow the seeds of chaos in your opponent's roster? Because these are two teams that rely heavily on their team play, on everyone knowing their role and executing that role very effectively. And you look at both these teams, and sure, you can pick out standouts, but you can pick out different standouts every game, and that's a really good sign for a team. You know, I look at this Enigma squad, and I think to myself, I've seen Blur be a stand-up performer on a given day. I've seen Vertigo be a stand-up performer. Jelly Doodle, Tox, Fluffy, all of them have had their moment in the sun, and that's true of both teams tonight. So you really, if you were to say who's the best, the most high impact player on Enigma, it'll be really tough. You could make an argument for almost all of these players, and then you got new blood like Neko coming in, and she's replacing Assassin JDB, who was smitten by the gods, house struck by literal lightning to prevent him from taking part. But she's stepped in and has been a really strong performer to the squad on the projectile DPS. Her Farah's been extremely oppressive, like Assassins used to be. She's been quite good in the Echo, and then on the there was another hero, the May. She was also playing as well in the match against Beastie Boys Bros, and they came out with a 3-0 there. So this is a strong squad, and they've got something to prove now to recoup that victory over Beastie Boys again from the group stage.
Yeah, that's the sort of slight change that a team can make. And I think this is where the South African scene is built to, is the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you have these really strong oppressive teams at the top, the Randburg Fire Departments, the ATKs, and then Beastie Boys for a long time really held a big glass ceiling for a lot of teams to
Yes.
grow in that vacuum. And that's where these players have come from. They've been your third place teams, your fourth place teams, sixth, eighth teams at time.
Yeah.
And that sort of growth, that sort of ability to play at such high levels of Overwatch against people around you, means that you can develop up to that level at such a rapid pace and
Yeah.
then filter down. The top players start working together. They start finding themselves from the other teams. A bunch of people who came from different teams come together, having recognized that they work well together, and you suddenly instantly have a really, really strong team. And I think that's what we have here tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And as you say, I think the point about the glass ceiling that Beastie Boys almost used to create in the past, and ATK before them, Eden before them, Glythe Gaming even further before. These teams are now that have been around forever. These are not superstars that have been injected from other scenes or that have come through from out of nowhere. These are all players we've seen build throughout the Overwatch scene. Enigma especially have been around since 2019, 2018, grinding away at Overwatch, working their way to the top. And they came through and they beat Beastie Boys. ATK disappeared. Nobody ever got the chance to beat them. But Beastie Boys did not. These teams came through Beastie Boys, beat them with strong, strong performances, and now are going to be able to show them what they've got in this grand finals situation.
Yeah, let's get into the actual technicalities. We know who these teams are. What are they going to do? If we look at the way that these maps are going to play out, obviously we're going to start at control point. And, when I think of control point, it always comes down to the teams want to feel each other out. It's
Yeah.
not always a good reflection of what's to come in the rest of the series when we start getting to hybrid and payload maps, etc. But it does set a nice tempo. There are
Yes.
teams who have carried themselves through tournaments by just winning control points, considering you have one at the beginning and one at the
Yeah.
end of a five map series at least.
Hmm.
How much of an impact do you think that's going to make between these two teams?
I think, as you say, control is critical. Being good at control is critical, but as you say, the first map sets the tone, but the tone isn't necessarily going to sit throughout the series, right? And I think the
Mm.
most important thing about this first map is getting a sense of what your opponents are trying to do, but also getting a sense of what's going to work for yourself on the day. You can come in with the most preparation, with a brawl style, with a dive style, with whatever. We saw Beastie Boys in the previous series against Enigma come in with a style that they felt was going to work, but how do you adapt if it doesn't? That's the big question. And do you look at Control and say Control's a bit of a unique map type, right? We know it's very brawly. The Control, the COT style of just fighting. If you win team fights, you'll win the game. It's less about objective focus, It tends to be a bit more coin flippy than some of the map types. So how much do you put onto that? You say, okay, no, that was Control. It's whatever. What we're doing works. We just need to execute better now on some of the more stable map types. And you fall into the trap of then not changing anything, and that's the most exciting thing. Seeing what these teams are going to bring to the table. How do you set the tone for yourself? Are you going to come out guns blazing, playing super quick, or do you play a bit slower and get a sense of what's going on? That for me is the most exciting part of this first series, and the series, who knows, might be decided by who wins this first team fight on Control. If you get the tempo set straight off the bat, do you just ride that momentum through, as we've seen so many South African teams do? Or are we going to see a back and forth, as we've also seen now more recently, even in BC Boys against Enigma before? So that's exciting to see. And I'm excited always to see the adaptations between the decision makers on the teams. We've spoken before about Newt especially being a very, very intelligent player on the one side. We've got Blur, who used to coach 80% of the teams in the local scene for a long time, against a former main tank who he was coaching on 2CP. That's an exciting dynamic to see how it plays out. And despite the experience that Enigma has, the decision making throughout a series has sometimes felt a bit slow. They felt a bit blunt in changing things up, whereas Newt and his squads have been super sharp in making decisions, and that could be a key as the series plays out.
I love how much pressure you put on that first team fight. Like the fact that it really could change everything. I think that what you talk about, it could go back and forth, and
Yeah,
that's going to come down to how well the teams adapt. From the time that they recognize that what they're doing is not working,
yeah,
can you adapt and then take the advantage out of it? I think where the control point is going to come in interesting is there has been a lot of changes to heroes. There are a lot of like little minor tweaks, or some heroes have started coming into the prevalence a little bit more here
Yeah.
and there. It's a very open meta right now. Wrecking Ball has made such a rise in the meta in general, and always strong on control points.
Hmm.
Blur is a very well-known Wrecking Ball, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the players come out and feel out their heroes. You
Hmm.
talked about it. How you arrive on the day is very, very important. And
Yeah.
so, do they feel good? Are they hitting their shots? Are they finding their positioning constantly good? Are they using their cooldowns well? Are they getting good picks? Or are they feeling under pressure? Are they starting to go, what we're trying already isn't working? And that might dictate how they then bring that strategy into the rest of the progression of the maps. Is if you're feeling a hero straight away, you come out with a Cassidy and you click 6 heads in the first 20 seconds. Like you feel pretty good about taking that to a
Yeah.
streets phase, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You kind of just want to ride the momentum through as much as you can, and then again, it depends on, are you just so on that hero that the opponents have to respond, or do they keep playing their style and just shut down your hero or the team around you? And that's the hardest part about Overwatch, is figuring out what you need to do to beat your opponents and how much needs to change for your roster. I often talk about, at least, do you change your squad here or do you change your play style? And that's a really hard decision to make, especially when there are some relatively strong counters hero to hero wise in Overwatch. It's sometimes hard to figure out, okay, do we need to switch to hit scans to deal with this Pharah, or do we change our playstyle to shut down the teams that are not being supported now by the Mercy and the Pharah? So these are questions that are all going to play out, and they can be different things on different days, and we're just gonna have to wait and see whether Beastie Boys or Enigma, who's going to get the advantage once we come out of this best of 7.
Are you brave enough for predictions, my friend? Are you
I
brave?
I am brave. I think we're going to go the distance here. I think it's going to be 4-3, and I think I've been
Okay.
so impressed by the Beastie Boys again. I think they've just got something extra today, but however this goes, I'm going to be happy with this result as long as we get some great Overwatch.
I like to hear it. I'm sure you guys are excited for this as well as we look for it. Beastie Boys again in blue versus Enigma. This is the Buffalo Cup Grand Finals, best of 7. As we take on Busan, our first control point. Stalker coming out on the Wrecking Ball. Blur instead favoring the Reinhardt. A very static comp coming out from Enigma at the beginning of this. Foxy going to be using that May wall to control some space. Jelly Doodle also notable on that Symmetra. Really prioritizing position is Enigma and using that teleport at some stage, I'm sure, to jump across and initiate. Here comes a May wall. In fact, they push them off the top, and there's the instant pressure coming out. Vertigo manages to take out the Zenyatta, Newt that is, on the side, and Enigma is starting to really close the trap now. Stalker not really able to get into this fight, just looking to support up the poor Mercy, falling so low in the back line. Smiley somehow managing to stay alive, and Blur still now on the payload, or at least on the point, has managed to get that possession.
This is something that's been typical of Enigma's play, right? It's this reliance on the Symmetra, or the emphasis on the Symmetra, and using that effectively. Look at the teleport positioning right now, as we can see here from this over-the-top view. They can respond either way that Enigma choose, Stalker and Co choose to go here. They can respond quickly. They have not taken that teleporter down immediately. Triple strikes.
And this is big, that big anti-heal grenade coming out from from Beastie Boys, set up some stuff there, but the nice quick immortality field, the nice quick May War means that Enigma starts to get back, but Beastie Boys does not let up on any of this pressure. They want to keep pushing forwards. They're getting pick after pick. Look how quickly these DPS players are starting to execute. Drizzle in the air on that Pharah, already on fire. Kiri clearing up the ground, and they turn the point so quickly. 48% is on the board for Enigma, but a clean team fight from Beastie Boys.
Yeah, very, very nice stuff from them. And then that was really about Stalker making the space. Coming in on the left, and the teleporters all well and good if they're all coming in through one side, but when they split their attention like that, you don't know, does the whole team need to be on one side, or does the whole team need to be on the other side? They get rid of that teleporter, they find the initial pick with Drizzle with the opponent's attention split, and then they come in and clean up very effectively, and now we're going to do the same here with the minefield to start.
Oh, that is a deadly minefield, forcing out the sound barrier coming out from Enigma to start it off, and it does keep Enigma completely healthy at the beginning of this. So the first salvo from Beastie Boys doesn't work. Here comes the big Earth Shatter. Does manage to sleep on Blur as he starts to charge through. Turns it around for Trizzle, though. Manages to clear up with the barrage from above. DPS from Beastie Boys again. does not let down. Got the setup at the beginning, and Blur just not being able to follow through.
And shout out to Nude once again, the man of the hour with that sleep, putting Blur to bed as the shadow comes out. The point did flip during that though, so not quite as much on the clock as Beastie Boys again might have been expecting, but still, they're now coming to the advantage of 50% on the clock. Kiri with the pulse bomb at the ready, gonna go around, a big antidote to start things off and a big stick as well.
The stick, Stalker takes out 2, and Kiri and the Beastie Boys again just charge through, cleaving from every angle here. Foxy just trying to at least build up an EMP to try and get out of this, and just left scrambling alone and visible as Beastie Boys. They haven't actually lost too many people in the last couple of fights as well.
No, they have not, and you can see what Enigma's problem is, at least from their perspective. They don't want to deal with that ball. They've got Foxy on the Enigma now, going to try and shut down Stalker as he comes in, and we know how much space he can make. We know how critical he is to Beastie Boys against success, so it seems like it makes a lot of sense, but I worry that it's exposing the rest of the players, and they start with a big kickoff here onto Jelly Doodle.
Yeah, there's no synergy in the attack coming out from Enigma just because of this disruption coming out from Beastie Boys. You got Kiri on the backline being able to do some nice work, distract your main DPS. You got Stalker rolling through like this, being able to lay down mines, control space, being able to disrupt place. You got Newt sleeping key targets at every time. Smiley picking up anyone who does go down, and Trizzle putting in damage from above, and then Amali just controls the space. This is the team synergy you were talking about. Enigma came through with a good strategy at the beginning, but once it was broken, Beastie Boys had all the momentum, I feel.
Yeah, and you can just see the way that Beastie Boys are playing, typical of their playstyle. I mentioned the Sim teleport being typical of Enigma, but Beastie Boys again play a very, very split style. They force Enigma to split their attention, and Enigma's squad wants to barrel through the opponents, you know? They've got the Reinhardt on the front line, the Lucio giving the speed. They want to run through the opposing team, but who do they go for here? There's nobody anywhere. Everyone's everywhere, and they don't know how to get on top of the key targets. Newt able to get so much value out of the honor. Kiri being a nuisance in the backline, independently of Stalker being a nuisance in the backline, and they're just ripping apart Enigma's attack so effectively. This is some scary stuff we're seeing from Beastie Boys again, but the question is, how do Enigma respond? And the answer to that, they believe, is by sowing some chaos of their own.
Yeah, we go mobile. We take it to their back lines, and the two lineups now are going to kind of sit and stay distant from each other. Trizzle from the one side going to be putting in damage, and both teams have the Mercy. Just pick up anyone who gets picked. You got your Tracer, your Wrecking Ball to go out into the front line, start making some space, try and contest this front line. Great pick so far. Trizzle doing huge amounts of work in the back line there on that Widowmaker. Just got so much space to work with. Does go down, but picked up straight away after that. And Molly gonna eventually lose that possession of the point, and still the poke battle comes in here. Beastie Boys, Trizzle carrying on, popping off right now, being able to cleave through, but can the rest of Beastie Boys come through and try and contest this? They've already given away possession of this payload to Enigma, and Enigma? Do they have to even stop doing what they're doing? It doesn't matter that they're getting picked.
They just need to stay in control of the point here, right? And Diva's doing a really good job of that. Vertigo putting the pressure on the point, but now they have a good position here to be supposed to get on the point. And the ulti comes out here from Jedhu. He's going to look to clean things up, and this is a great start.
Yeah, I like this. They've been playing with Vertigo, just being the one to sit on points, touch constantly, and now comes the counter. This is actually going to be the opportunity for Beastie Boys to start playing in there. Stalker's gone through, trying to control up some space with the mines, trying to knock through. Vertigo's going to be able to get back into that mech, and so going to be able to contest this point. Has lost the Mercy, though. Toxin Sock's going to be going down. This means Beastie Boys going to be able to now start chewing through any health points that come onto this. Blur and Vertigo both trying valiantly to keep this going. And considering that the point is still ticking up, 60% on the board here from Enigma, means even with every one of these picks coming through, it's taken 65% for Beastie Boys to crack that.
It's a bit of a disaster there, altruism for Beastie Boys. What they've been doing is they've been ceding possession of the point to Enigma during his team fights. It happened twice on Mecha base, and they've just been using their superior position off the point to clean up the team fights very quickly. But here, it's not as easy. There's a lot more room for them to play around here. As we see some ball-on-ball action here, some Newton's Cradle happening, I suppose. Two science boys like myself, you and I, ultimately know all about the principles of momentum conservation here. But Trizzle, under pressure now, needs to be careful as Newt though has his back. Really nice play from the Enigma players, Beastie Boys players.
Well, it is going to be about momentum. You mentioned that right now, and both teams throwing a lot of ultimates to try and capture this their way. We've got Stalker on the point, trying to just keep this in the possession of Beastie Boys, but they've lost it now, and even though they've still got a lot of people on the sides putting in damage, they're going to have to win this team fight cleanly. Jelly Doodle doing such a good job to just keep that positioning behind the spell here, means that they can put out damage, and Kiri getting some kills, but not getting any more point possession. That was an immediate crack, as it just seemed like Beastie Boys had to run for the hills, or had run for the hills, and Enigma just pushed forward.
Yeah, I mean, again, they've given away position of the point here. Now, Beastie Boys are going to have to try and come in and recontest here, but they are back against the wall. Kiri had to be raised up now, so even more resources that Beastie Boys don't have at their disposal. Transcendence forced to pop just to get onto the point here. We'll counter out the sides nicely though.
Yeah, this is Beastie Boys going, okay, we're done playing at a distance. We're all going to stand here. We're going to try and brawl it out. And it just seems like Enigma can now stand the distance. They can take whatever positioning they want, keep one person on the payload or the point, and just keep throwing in damage. Beastie Boys losing so many of their lives in this fight so far, and they're eventually going to get taken down. That one was definitely momentum based in the red half.
Yeah, you can see how the playstyle that Beastie Boys again employed on the previous map on Maker Base wasn't really able to get that much value. Enigma had a lot more opportunities with this composition to find individual targets and shut them down. And then playing around the stable core of Jelly Doodle, Fluffy, and Vertigo allowed Blur and Co to move around the map, putting pressure on. And Beastie Boys again choosing to go for the Widowmaker on that map. I don't really agree with that pick in that scenario. I think Trizzle did a great job with the tools he had, but you could see that map has too much cover. He can't reliably get pick after pick after pick, and it's too slow to play out once they give Enigma control of the point like that. But now both teams are going to switch things up here. They're going to go for Stalker. They've got Kiri on the Widowmaker. Makes a lot of sense on this map compared to the last one. So we'll have to see what he can do. And I think that could be the key there. Shut him down. There won't be issues. But if he finds a few key picks, that might unlock things for Beastie Boys again. But there we go. Shut down to start things off.
Great awareness coming out here from Enigma to be able to go, okay, Trizzle did get a lot of picks at the beginning, did put a lot of pressure, but it just was Enigma being able to then just hold possession of the point. They played around that cover that you talked about here, and like you say, going to be a little bit harder, and so just realizing that they needed to shut down Kiri at the beginning of the fight. Still, it is Beastie Boys being able to pick up this first point, doing really well to clear up this space, just keeping Enigma kind of penned away. Jelly Doodle is really under a lot of pressure now. Toxin Socks as well, trying to get out here as they're getting corralled in the corner. Really nice play, though, to play out of that corner. They've got Foxy in the back line. We said Foxy is going to be able to come in here and really flex some muscles, get on the scoreboard, and being able to take apart the back line and turn around the focus of Beastie Boys is a great way to turn this point around.
Yeah, credit to Foxy here, aka Neko. She's been absolutely dominating on the Tracer on this map especially. This is not a color we've seen out of her in a previous match against Beastie Boys. Again, more, giving the vertical exposure here for Enigma in the past, but now able to play this Jelly Doodle role almost. This is what Assassin used to do as well. Come in with this Tracer and be a superstar. Newt though, he finds the opening pick onto Foxy, and Jelly Doodle gonna have to fire back with attack visor.
Is the res opportunity that comes out in response to the Transcendence Force from the side of Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys is clashed in now. They're going to have to fight in the middle of that that amplification matrix, so that's going to be a lot of damage. Trizzle doing a lot of work on the Tracer, even picks up the sticky bomb kill on Jelly Doodle. This could be an opportunity here for Enigma to come in here. They coalesce quickly, they engage well, and they engage together, picking up a lot of kills very, very nicely. And I think that's the respect of what Neko's busy doing. Kiri going across the Cassidy is just, we are not winning the long battle. Let's take it close.
Yeah. Oh, nice shot from Kiri to take on Fluffy. That's a bad start for Enigma now. They're going to have to wait for Fluffy to respawn there if Tox doesn't go for the res, which I don't think he should. But yeah, I think Kiri switching is a really good call here to shut down Neko, but also to put a little bit more pressure on Blur. He can't come in with quite the same ease of access as he used to. Great start though for Stalker. Immediate pick onto Jelly.
Oh! Vertigo pulls out these bombs, these turnaround bombs so often that it just like 2 kills doesn't even seem like one of her best plays. But doing a lot to at least open this up, hasn't managed to crack the back line. I think that Stalker's separation of the team at the beginning just really cost too much. And Kiri constantly comes out with the Cassidy and clicks the heads and eventually just wins out the team fight. A really nice hold there at the end from Beastie Boys.
Yeah, key there is Smiley as well, finding the res, not dying to the bomb firstly, which allowed her to res Kiri back up and kind of turned the fight back into favor, because as soon as he came back up, Kiri got a kill onto a critical hero there, so that ended up being key. Gentle with another attack bias, he's going to start off here and look to pick up a few early kills, and he finds one in Kiri.
Has to, though. Has the only ultimate coming out here for the side of Enigma, and Enigma needs to win this. We've gone down into overtime, and so Enigma cannot afford to lose this. They're going to have to phase out the bomb. The bomb takes out Toxin Socks, and Fluffy goes down just afterwards. That's both of the supports down here for Enigma. Even if you've got some people left here, how long are you going to be able to sustain? They've got the biotic field and enough lives to make it count. But can Beastie Boys quickly turn this back in their favor?
Yes, they can, Altruism. They never really even lost the fight, right? They just allowed them to retake the point almost as an FU as they ended the map. But that was impressive play. But this map tells us quite a lot, Altruism, about what we're going to see throughout the series. It tells us that Beastie Boys, again, are playing with confidence. They're playing with patience. They're saying to Enigma, take all the space you need. Hell, grab the point if you want. We know we're going to take our own position. We're going to shut down the people we need to shut down. And we're going to take that point right back. They're not getting flustered. They're not getting afraid of losing the point. And I mean, Trizzle, great play from him on the Tracer. But this is a confident-looking Beastie Boys again squad. And Enigma looking just a little bit more flustered. They're having to dig deep already on this first map with heroics from the likes of Jelly Doodle and Vertigo just to keep in the game. And I think Beastie Boys are so far looking the stronger of the team, and I think that's paid off by a 1-0 victory so far in the series.
I think it's been interesting. We talked about the adaptability of the teams. We've already seen a lot of variation coming out. If you think about how it started, we had Enigma sitting on that very tank-heavy lineup behind the Ryan Shield, and Enigma went chaos, go everywhere kind of thing. Collapsed onto Enigma. Enigma got taken out there. They brought the fight back. They wanted to create some chaos of their own. They took a little bit more of a long-range duel, and that's where it didn't work out as well. On just the fact that there was no presence on points. There was no point control coming out of Beastie Boys again. They couldn't do that. So Beastie Boys again swapped it up. They went to something like the Cassidy instead of the Widowmaker. Being able to go into that close range engagement meant that they could be on the point and taking the fight at the same time, winning that. And I love to see that just difference. And I wonder if that there's going to be more coming out from Enigma. How many times can these teams switch back and forth? Or is it a point of we go, okay, this is our best lineup. We just got to play better.
Well, I mean, that's the question, right? And it goes back to what we were talking about before the series started. How much do you take away from control as each of these teams? How much do you say as Enigma, what they were doing works really, really well on the control map. But now, as we come into the next map, we have a much better sense of how we want to approach each team fight, each point. You can come in with a plan, and how well do we execute on that? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. But I think what Beastie Boys has in their favor is the style of play that they're executing gets easier on other map types because they can set themselves in on set positions on different maps. You know exactly the entrances and exits onto all the various points. In Overwatch, these teams are so experienced. They know exactly what your options are as an opponent. Both teams do. But Beastie Boys, again, have been doing an incredible job of utilizing the space that they have, the space that Stalker creates for them, and that the supports are helping create for Kiri and co, and using that so effectively to shut down Enigma's aggression. So the question for me, as it was in the last series of Watch between these two teams, is how do Enigma shut down the big players on Beastie Boys again? Do they shut down Stalker? Can they shut down Stalker? Can they shut down Kiri? And how do Beastie Boys again keep amplifying the effect of their two standout players?
Well, if there was ever a place to do it, it would be home. You got to start at home, right? And there is no more home-based map than Kings Row. We are going to Kings Row, ladies and gentlemen, for our next match. it is going to be Beastie Boys taking a 1-0 lead on this one. And how do you feel like Kings Row is now going to play into the narrative? How do you feel like these two teams approach such a well-known map? You talked about them knowing the entrances and exits. You talk about the set positions. This is probably the most practiced, the most scrimmed, and the most competitively played map in South Africa.
Well, looking at Beastie Boys Agane's style, it kind of doesn't work that well on streets, right? So, in the sense of splitting your positioning quite effectively, it tends to be a lot more of a brawly map, that second point. So, if you can get this first point done from Enigma, you're kind of feeling like you can get to that second point quite effectively on Kings Row. But we're going to have to wait and see. Stalker on the ball. You really can't argue with that. I complained about it in the previous series we saw them play against Enigma, where I felt like the Winston was getting so much more value. But this series, you can see the ball hooked up a lot better today than it was 2 months ago, however long ago it was.
Yeah.
And this time they're going to be running into that. He's going to be playing this disruptive role, but look what they're playing around otherwise with a lot more stability. The Honor, the Soldier. They're going to take up position on opposite sides and support each other, keep each other alive. That's going to make it difficult for Enigma with this brawly composition to get things done. This is a comp that wants to play into a mirror matchup.
Yeah. I like Enigma's ability, though. With this May, it allows you to just take point presence. If you just run onto point, you can fight it out and make Beastie Boys come and take the fight. And that's not something an Echo wants to do. That's not something, even something like Amalia on the Sigma doesn't really want to fight toe-to-toe with the Reinhardt. And so it's this interesting part. That anti-heal grenade, Newt, you talk about the playmaker, then you talk about the person to watch that creates team fights from a support role. That's how you started off.
That wasn't just a support role, Altruism. That was a team effort. That was all set up by Stalker coming in with the pile driver over the top. Pops them all up over the shield. Anti-heal against the wall. The cleanup is there. That was some team play. This is what we were expecting to see out of the squad. And they're executing perfectly. This is the difference between these two squads. A little bit of looseness from Enigma is punished so hard by Beastie Boys Again, who are playing some seriously clean Overwatch this evening.
Yeah, it seems like Enigma has a very clear game plan of what they wanted to do, having swapped up right now, realizing it's not going to work. They had a very clear game plan of what they wanted to do. But Beastie Boys was like, no, we're going to play our game. You're going to run up onto that corridor, and we're going to pick you off in the exact position we know. Stalker now causing havoc, has got the mines up if he really wants to drop them at the beginning of this fight. Right now, Amali just sitting in the front lines tanking, giving space to Kiri to build up this tag visor, and then the go call is out. Beastie Boys again charges forward, picks up whatever kills they need to, and just extends the fact that Enigma hasn't touched the point.
Yeah, they haven't, and like I said, this is what I expected out of the Beastie Boys Again. Setting up people on opposite sides of the map, making sure that Enigma can't find a single target to come through. They are going to push forward now. Blur in the backline on the ball. Nano boosted ball on the front line. Looking to get picks, and he'll do just that. Starts with one, but he's lost a couple of teammates Stalker has on the backline.
Well, the nice thing about Stalker is he's not going to be too worried about the fact that Newton's gone down. Very self-sufficient tank, but Amalia on the front line's taking damage. Smiley also has gone down, and Enigma look like they've cracked this open. Stalker pretty much the last one left here to try and trickle something out. Tries to take on some pressure towards the Baptiste, but eventually gets stripped down. And that's going to be all they wrote. Beastie Boys, a valiant effort to stop this, and did a long, only a minute and a half left at the end there. But Enigma finally come through.
I think a little bit too much focus put onto Blur there from Beastie Boys Again. He came through the back line, and that split the focus of Beastie Boys Again quite a lot. And pick after pick after pick came flowing through, and that allowed Enigma just to grab a quick cap. That was where we were expecting Enigma to be not quite as strong, and now in the streets phase, they might be able to get some work done. That's a bad start. Almost taken down. Blur manages to get out of there just in the nick of time.
Yeah, that sleep came out at the beginning from Newt again, just as such a consistent player with incredible plays. You know, we talk about them being incredible plays. Here we go. Here comes the Gravitic Flux to start this off. Amali in the air is actually going to fall for it. Has he created enough space? There is going to be the duplicate coming out. Foxy choosing to go out onto the Anna. Jelly Doodle instead going to be dropping this as one. It seems like even though Enigma coming through with a little bit of pressure on them, really rallies and flexes nicely and takes this fight, and are going to extend this the whole way through the streets phase, it seems.
Yeah, they found a seriously nice rhythm here, Enigma. They've switched on a little bit. Blur's playing really well on the ball, but the team is also playing really well to take advantage of the space he's given. Jelly's reminding us that Kiri's not the only superstar soldier player in the map right now, and he's able to fire back with some well-timed tactical visors, but also just some great tracking as well. Look to take down Amali as well to start things off.
Oh, that heads-up play from Vertigo, just realizing the tanks are trying to contest the payload here from Beasty Boys again, but the rest of the team just has to sit around that corner. They lose too many, and Enigma keeps pushing forwards, even with the sleep going to come out at the end of the fight. It's going to be nothing Beasty Boys can stop this from capturing the point. And look at the space that's been made. Look at these mines just cheekily placed in a zone of, no, you don't come here.
Yeah, Blur's playing with confidence now. He's playing super aggressively. He recognizes that if he's going to pull all the attention, he knows his limits, right? So he's not going down either. Despite the Cassidy from Kiri, they're not able to punish Blur on his way in. And Smiley dropping low here, needs to be careful, pops the Valk just to stay healthy. And that's what Beastie Boys again are forced to do right now. Pop ultis just to stay in the fight.
Oh, this is an interesting play coming out, though. Beastie Boys is trying to poke. They're trying to prod. Stalker's trying to contest onto this high ground and has built up this mines. And there's no real progress coming out from Enigma, right? At this stage, they're quite content to just build up some ults. Going to drop down a couple or trade either way for these two teams. And the res attempt comes out. Toxin Socks is going to actually be able to get that one up. And so Blur going to be back into the fight in no time. But just really a little bit of a trade war, a little bit of progression on the payload.
Huge leap coming out onto Fluffy there. That gives Vertigo's mech again, because she was being kept healthy by Fluffy. So with him going down, now a big anti-heal as well. Kiri with the Deadeye over the top. Great play from Beastie Boys again, but it's not over just yet.
No, this is the problem, is now Beastie Boys has to contest this. They've let it come all the way through the corner, and Enigma has been doing a good job of getting the picks. Here comes Trizzle with the tag visor, just eaten up by the replicated Diva. Really good heads-up play coming out from Foxy, just between him and Vertigo, or her and Vertigo at least, sorry. They are able to just mitigate so much damage, and Beastie Boys has flexed out. Now comes the self-destruct the other way. Not going to be able to catch anyone. Really good evasive maneuvers, but that meant they had to run into the face of Enigma. Vertigo now going to be dropping another bomb. Jelly Doodle picking up some kills. Still some havoc being caused in the back line here by Stalker and Kiri. The payload has still got so little distance to go. There has to be a retaliation. Beastie Boys comes back. Still Enigma fighting this out to the death. They are not retreating. They are not regrouping. They want to fight this right here, right now. And how has he not touched the bombs? The C9! Smiley just gets there in time. Blur not being able to get that. Holy cow.
Close one there. Heads up play from Blur, finding just the space in the team fight there to get the card just an inch closer. But a messy team fight there for both teams. And at the end of it all, Beastie Boys do manage to hold, but now no mistakes. They can't make any mistakes here as they come through. But Kiri, he's hiding out here. He's got the Deadeye at the ready. He's looking for an angle in this next team fight. But it's going to be up to Vertigo to see whether she can shut that down. But no, he gets a kill into Jelly, but pays with his life.
And this is big. Now it's a case of Enigma needs to know, do they back out right now with so many ultimates being dropped by Beastie Boys? Try regroup for one team fight, but they're sticking it out. This might not be the best use of your time. You're going into so much. Blur is getting work done, still keeping pressure. Jelly Doodle now coming through with a double, triple attack visor kill, and that clears up the point. What a bit of pressure to retaliate to that investment from Beastie Boys at the right time.
Yeah, and the key there was the Marley dropping the mech, right? That's the difference in that team fight. Both tac visors coming out pretty much within 1 second of each other, but the fact that there was no D-Matrix on the side of Beastie Boys again meant that Jelly Doodle could just clean things up. But really, this has been a fascinating, chaotic match here on King's Row so far, at least the map, sorry. And I'm excited to see how things play out going forward here, but it really feels like both of these teams, if they can gain that momentum, they feel confident in forcing themselves, you know, asserting themselves on the matchup and taking advantage. And so often we see it coming down to what the main support can do, the flex support, sorry, whether it's Fluffy on the Baptiste or Newt on the Anna can do to keep the tanks alive or to support the team so that the tanks can make space, whether it's Stalker or Blur, which allows the DPS players, Jelly or Kiri, to really take advantage. It's a fascinating dynamic we're seeing play out in the series, and I wonder if we're putting so much focus on the main tanks, but maybe we should be looking at Newt and Fluffy, and maybe the the team fights are hinged on how much work they can get done because, we've seen a few clutch sleeps coming out from Newt that have really secured things, anti-heals as well, and Fluffy has been putting out so much healing and well-timed lamps, and I think that might be the key here.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. It really does come down to how much impact that can make. You need to keep your team alive if you're a Baptiste for long enough that Blur can go ahead and do some chaotic stuff, turn the pressure around, give you some space from a distance. Or if you're a Newt, getting this anti-heal grenades, getting your time to kill down so much, getting the big sleeps to keep your back line alive, turn that tempo around. A really big play that's coming out now, and I think both teams are starting to respect this. Look at this. There's still the same sort of ideas coming out from both teams. Blur going to be going into the backline. Stalker doing some work, but has got so many red players around them. There has been a big opportunity to clean up now, and now we get to the mid-fight. Now we get to see Amali just plinking away with that bunny blast, doing just as much damage with the soldier. Actually manages to get the mech back up, and that's going to give Beastie Boys a big edge. They managed to isolate Fluffy on their own. Fluffy does manage to take out Drizzle. A double kill, and yeah, Kerry dropping the tag visor at the end here. Just really obviously prioritizing, let's clean this up. We got to give some respect to Enigma. We do not want to let them contest for any amount of time because they could reinforce and stall this out forever. We cannot afford to lose too much time. And look at this. This is Enigma. This was this tag visor that we said from Kiri. Still, even through that, Enigma drew that out.
Yeah, really, really strong play there. But Kiri charged it up so quickly. He was picking targets very effectively and putting the damage down. But like you say, that is now not available for the next team fight. While Jelly Doodle has built his up. Mine's built up for both main tanks here. So everything to play for as we come to the streets phase. Enigma needs to stop the momentum of Beastie Boys again. But Beastie Boys again have a difficult time back to overcome. And Fluffy strikes early. I said it was going to be about the flex supports, and he starts things off really well.
Yeah, this is going to be big, and Transcendence actually forced out on the payload, all from the sake of Blur. Blur goes and drops some mines and pulls out one of the biggest ultimates in the game. Now it's going to be up to Stalker to create some space the other way. They've even thrown that self-destruct over the top. It does take out the immortality field, but Fluffy managing to get that down in time. It is still Beastie Boys cleaning up the rest of that fight. Enigma just could not take that counter pace.
Yeah, some well-timed ultis there from Beastie Boys again, forced them through that one. But Fluffy, once again, coming in clutch there, once again supporting Blur on the initiation. But if they took down Blur before he could get out, so that was the key there. Without that ball in the backline being such a difficult target to deal with, they were able to clean things up on the side of Beastie Boys again and force the point through now. Enigma are going to try and come in here for another fight, but Tox has the Valkyrie. That should keep them fairly healthy.
And this is a big play coming out from Vertigo. Just gets straight up into the face of Kiri. Tries to buy some time. Still going to lose Toxin Socks to that attack visor though. Kiri eventually going to pay with their life. And Chisel, meanwhile, winning out that Tracer duel. It is going to be so close. Just half a meter away. And Enigma coming through. Yeah, that's a great immortality field there. And the Eaton Drizzle Bomb, like you say, coming out there. Vertigo just heads up play constantly in this fight, keeping control of this payload, making sure it doesn't move at all, and dancing around it, making sure not to take so much damage. Here comes the tag visor from Jelly Doodle to try and clear up some space. Has taken out a Marley, and both, there goes Kiri as well into the backlines, and both of the supports just hiding in now, trying to stay out of sight. Cannot afford to try and duel out Jelly Doodle, who's doing so much work. Got a little bit more space, but Jelly Doodle, such good control of this high ground, means that Beastie Boys just kind of really need to regroup at this stage.
Yeah, I think they do. And if are going down, they will do just that. And really nice play. I think Jelidal, the difference between him and Kiri, he's been doing a much better job of identifying when Amali is dead and then taking advantage of that. Because there, the first kill he got with Attack Visor was the Baby Diva, which means the mech was down already, right?
Yeah.
And when the mech's down, no D-Matrix obviously means the soldier's going to get a ton of value. And just been really heads-up play with the Jelly Doodles on the soldier here, but Kiri, he's got the pure mechanics there. Just deletes Fluffy, and that might spell the end of this one, but Vertigo going to try a fight back.
Yeah, still good kills coming out here from Beastie Boys, being able to get in here. Marley sitting on this payload, has to fight on two fronts though. Here comes a risky res, but it does manage to get Nudu back into the fight. So double supports up here, and that good double tank play coming out from Enigma still keeps him alive for a little bit. Vertigo trying to dance around. Beastie Boys, though, that good res just keeps them alive so well, but is able to keep everyone so healthy for the rest of the extended fight, and the double punch kill at the end. That's rude.
With Wiley, man, just taking Foxy down there, making sure they can secure that point. But yeah, no, really nice play from Beasty Boys again there, and it wasn't that expensive. They're coming
Yeah.
into this next fight with 2-3 ultimates here, including the Transcendence. So this could be a tough one for Enigma to fight back. They might want to just force the ultis out here and look to hold the point right at the end, but we'll have to see what they're able to do. Pulse Bomb to start things off.
Yeah, the pulse bomb is a good way to start off. There's a pulse bomb the other way, and Marley still stays alive, and Kiri decides to drop the attack visor straight away, trying to push forward. Good at defense, good at immortality field, keeps that corner safe a little bit longer. There we see Vertigo actually dueling on the front lines into so many players, keeping control of this payload, making sure it doesn't move. It means that Beastie Boys has got it around the first corner at least. They've got the numbers on here. Enigma deciding to take that high ground, has got the Baptiste and the Soldier, but both of them get pressured as soon as they're identified in that side room, and now it's just the Brigida trying to fight it out against the Marley. And Marley just creates some space. The spin to win strategy from Blur delays it for a little bit, but Amali's done such a good job of keeping so much space here in this front line. The payload starts moving all the way towards the edge. Jelly Doodle going to be coming out straight away with the rally and the attack visor, trying to make something happen. Vertigo takes a key kill here. Transcendence pops, keeps up the resurrection, means Kiri can get back into this fight. And it means that now just Beastie Boys trying to fight it out. Trizzle trying to cause havoc in the front lines. Here comes a big bomb from Vertigo. Not going to be able to pick up anything. Great evasive maneuvers coming out, and Beastie Boys back into the attack. Can launch some damage. Trizzle has been left alone because of that bomb. And even Stalker now has to go under the map. Is he going to be able to come back up? No! The boop, the flail goes out there. Newt going to dive afterwards. And Enigma being able to hold.
Really strong stuff from Enigma. That was some desperate stuff coming out of spawn there. Caught almost at the end, but they managed to hold out, managed to force it through. And now they're going to get set up again once again here. They've got the mines from Blur to come into this next fight, but the key here is Vertigo. If she gets shut down, that's going to give Kiri the space to get work done with the attack visor, but they do have the lamp on the side. Oh no, they don't. Fluffy has switched now onto the Zen. So 2 Zens in the game here. I haven't seen that for a long time. I feel like it's Blur. Mines down, putting the pressure on, just counting down the clock here.
Yeah, but look at how fast these ultimates are building from Beastie Boys. Amali's back up. Kiri's had his ultimate for the whole time. Smiley and Newt, because of this poke damage, are getting a lot up. Blur goes down. That's going to be big. Stalker on the other side goes down. Attack visor sides are dropped by Kiri, but not before Vertigo is out of mech. Vertigo shuts that down instantly. Still, Kiri going to be coming back into the fight now. 2 DPS trying to lay waste, and here comes the rally. Toxin Socks trying to get on the payload, trying to fight it out with Blur here, trying to keep this payload stationary. The slam comes down. That's going to be a big counter slam from Blur. Does eventually go down. The Beastie Boys has another attempt. They're going to run through. Fluffy needs to be careful here on the side. Does not want to get a lot of very mobile tanks and very mobile DPS to come on top of them. A nice early Transcendence comes down from Newt. Wants to try and get them as much space as possible. Counter Transcendence out from Fluffy, and Kiri is going to be able to take out Toxin Socks.
Oh,
Stalker with the double kill. Opens everything up. Enigma starting to lose all their HP. There goes Amali's mech, and Blur going to fall shortly afterwards. It is going to be Beastie Boys pushing all the way and taking the map, or at least being able to get as much as Enigma did in just less time.
Well, I mean, they were in overtime there, right? They were so fortunate that they didn't let 7 more seconds, didn't let Enigma cap with 7 more seconds on the clock, because if they had, they'd have to be fighting for a draw here, a mirror of what we saw on Numbani in their previous series. But really fascinating map so far. Kings Row, as usual, delivering. And these 2 teams, top tier teams, South African Overwatch, delivering as well. And excited to see what we see going forward. I think, as we said, main supports, or flex supports rather, playing a critical role there. Main tanks playing a critical role. Kiri and Dirty on the soldiers as well. Very critical stuff here. And really, it's such a difficult map to play for both these teams, because any mistake you make is getting pounced on, and these chaotic team fights, it's so easy for errors to be forthcoming. And so far it's been Enigma with the better of the engagements here, but really, despite the 1 minute time that Enigma has, it is a super even map, right? One team fight goes a different way. It's even Stevens on the map. So this really is both teams with everything to play for here. And it's going to be Beastie Boys again looking to attack things with pretty much more of the same here, right?
Yeah. These are comfort picks coming out from both of these sides. Everyone's on heroes that they know that they can run well with. There's the ball mirror that has been doing so much to differentiate the beginning of the fight, and both balls swing through and actually get nothing out of this. Blur has got that Discord orb, and it's going to be, again, like you say, the doubles in Yata mirror coming out here, just really wanting to get a little bit control over anyone who threatens the back lines. Kiri is going to be able to pick up one with the Cassidy, is putting pressure as well. Amali goes down though. Kiri is going to eventually take out ball, and so it's going to be a tank for tank trade. Stalker though is going to be able to do a lot of work. That Wrecking Ball so prevalent in this meta at this stage, and with the rest of Beastie Boys now pushing onto the point, are going to be able to be contested. A great position again from Vertigo, but Vertigo's going to lose the mech. That's going to be big at the beginning of this fight. Kiri's coming up towards that ultimate soon. Amali, Trizzle, Newt all coming to the party now, being able to join that kill board and get Beastie Boys a little bit more space on this point. They've pushed Enigma back, and with just a minute on the board, they've clicked once. There's going to be a little bit of a contention from Jelly Doodle, but again, clicked twice. Overtime clicks down. Enigma just going to have to give this up, and Beastie Boys has managed to crack Street's face.
Very nice play from them, but it is overtime now. No mistakes can be made, and I think the key here is Newt's Transcendence. Can they get the Transcendence before Blur comes through with his ulti, before the bomb comes in, before the tack visor? Because those ultimates are key ultimates that can clear the point. If all Enigma needs to do here is clear the point, they don't even need to win the team fight. Overtime is going to tick down so fast, so that's what makes it difficult for Beastie Boys again here. But they have now the momentum, they can start to push through, but Newton's gone down, and that could be a disaster.
And Vertigo again being able to just keep that tack visor in the face. Eventually does eat it in the mech, but just mitigates all the damage, keeps everyone safe behind it as Enigma just clashes forwards. Great res comes out from Smiley, but here comes the tack visor. Jelly Doodle looking to run forwards. Like you say, they just need to clear the ball. Combined with the mines, Blur and Jelly Doodle together, pushing forwards in an unstoppable wave. And that is Beastie Boys pushing as far as they can.
But they did get that first point. And like I said there, Newt going down pretty much spelled the end of that. Because as soon as Blur and J-Ludo got their ultis up, they were managed to clean that one up. So really, really smart, strong, decisive play from Enigma, as we've seen throughout the series and throughout their Buffalo Cup so far. That's been their key to victory. We're going to have to see if they can keep that up here, or if Beastie Boys are going to be able to stymie that like they've been doing so effectively going forward. But now they are on the defense. Beastie Boys again, they have to stop Enigma. 2 minutes on the clock. They can do it. We've seen how strong they can be on this kind of point, and they're going to lead on the composition that they've done so far. But Newt once again here on the Zenyatta. I question this. I wonder if this is the pick, because you look at his honor, look at what he was able to do on that hero throughout the series thus far. You know, Kings Row and Oasis before, or not Oasis, Busan before this. That's been a key part of their victory strategy here. So we'll have to see what they're able to do. But now, Foxy on the Hanzo. They switched onto the Hanzo towards the end of their defense, and she wasn't able to have that much effect. So we're going to have to see, can she find a couple of key picks here, or just pump the damage into Stalker when he comes in and shut him down.
I like this interesting thing, because you talk about the 2 minute time bank from Enigma. Beastie Boys did hold that. In the first round of this, they did hold 2 minutes, but vastly different team comps coming out from the two teams. Newt not on the Ana that we were talking about. Is that going to make the big difference? Foxy came out originally with the Mei, and just now going a completely different direction, looking for those picks, looking for that burst damage to Stalker, who maybe stick out too far, and combined with that Discord orb, like you say, the damage that ticks through so quickly, Stalker going to have to be a lot more respectful. Newt actually taking damage. Kiri goes down. Kiri goes down at the beginning of this, and that means Enigma can start pushing some payload, or at least putting some pressure as Vertigo goes down, looking straight away to put pressure. Smiley is going to get taken down. The last hit comes out from Foxy to be able to take that down, but Vertigo chased her to death, it seemed, and it just seems like Amali. Poor Amali trying to contest this at the end here, not going to be able to stop anything there. Fluffy picks up a kill on Trizzle as well. And Beastie Boys not going to be able to contest this, but are they even going to be able to come back and stop the payload? With just over what? It's going to be 2 minutes?
It doesn't matter the minutes, right? It's the 8 meters between the door opening and the golden box or whatever it is. Like, seriously close, 32 meters, sorry. 8 meters in real life. Overwatch meters are very different to real meters. But okay, they are going to get back on here, and I like this composition here. 27 seconds here, a huge paradigm shift composition lead for Beastie Boys again. They know they need a brawl on this point. They didn't have ultis to work with. That's a huge minefield.
That is huge, but Beastie Boys already gotten past. You got Trizzle on the back line, now Beastie Boys sitting round the corner, just waiting it out. This Toxin Socks rally could be the big initiation factor. Toxin Socks rushes forward, does manage to take out Kiri at the beginning of this fight, and it seems like Beastie Boys going to be stuck in this corner. Here comes the pile driver, combined with that Transcendence, and then the bomb on top. Stand and fight us, you mere mortals, says Enigma, as they're able to clear this out. And Marley tries desperately with Trizzle to fight this out at the end, but it is going to be Enigma fighting it out in the most brutal ending they could have possibly done, and the most impenetrable offense. Taking the second map, that's one apiece, right? How has that only been 2 games?
Goodbye altruism here. When load shedding hits at 10, we will miss you, because this series is going the distance. But really stellar play from Enigma. I thought that was such a smart switch from Beastie Boys Agane, right? They recognize it's going to be a brawl on this corner, as we can see. And they're going to have to fight around that point, and sticking themselves behind a Reinhardt makes perfect sense there with the Moira to pump the healing through. But Tox on the Brigitte ended up being such a master stroke, because it meant they could just stand and fight with the rally at their backs, just put the pressure on. Blur split the team up with his minefield to start things off, and they had the ultis to fight through on top of that. You know, the self-destruct over the top, and critically the Transcendence as well. So they had so much HP. Their composition wasn't built to brawl, but with the ultis they had, they were very happy to take a full frontline fight like that, and they did so very effectively. But that was a very interesting game to see there. Now we're getting to see how these two teams are going to respond to each other throughout this series, and both teams are looking comfortable on a lot of different things, and that is very exciting to see.
Yeah. It's no longer coming down to a rock, paper, scissors of team comps or anything like that. We're getting a lot of bash, a lot of brawl, a lot of running close to each other. We're getting some distance plays, some chaotic plays. These teams have such an arsenal of techniques, of metas that they can play at this stage, that they can bring whatever it needs to be to the party. And it now comes down to decision makings. What do you play? What maps are we going to be going to? You know, we know what maps they are. We're going to Junkertown next. What does this mean for our team comp? We've seen the long distance plays, especially most notably Beastie Boys, not afraid to bring out something like a Widowmaker. Enigma is still happy to stay on their wrecking ball, can cause a lot of havoc in a place like this. You know, these decisions are coming at any stage, and it really, I think, a lot of pressure has to be placed on the decision makers from both of these teams. Holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely. Decision making really feels like a key here, and we've seen strong examples of decision making on both teams. Like I think, like I said, that roster, that composition switch right at the end there for Beastie Boys Agane.
100% agree.
Critical, smart thinking. Like you come in with something completely different. You have no ultis, but you give yourself the best opportunity to win by putting yourself on a squad that's going to fight in that exact spot, right? I know we're focusing on it, and it's not like the world's most incredible thing, but in a high pressure
decision.
It's in a high pressure situation like that, where you know exactly where the point's going to end, you know exactly where the fight's going to take part, and not just generally like on the street space. You know the exact spot on the ground where the main fight is going to be focused, and picking the perfect composition to do that, you know, was so clever. But also just Enigma putting themselves in a position with Tox on this brig. I don't like the brig. I question its you know, effectiveness, but he's making it work, and you can see what it's trying to do here. It's trying to put the pressure on Stalker, trying to keep the backline healthy, make them more self-sufficient so they don't have to worry about the pressure coming through. And Fluffy start things off here, sniping the sniper, but immediately the red team will fire back.
I love this double mirror and the sniper that's coming out here, and with both the teams having Kiri winning that sniper duel, definitely. Both teams even went out for the Zinja. There's so much long distance damage that the two wrecking balls are actually just going to be running around in between them. And Amali Vertigo, this is a complete mirror, except for the fact that Toxin Socks still sticking up with that Brigitte versus Smiley being able to counter out some of those picks. But so far, Beastie Boys taking the better of this exchange. Say that.
Kiri peeks out and gets his head clicked off, but they've got Smiley in position, and but Tox moving forward now. They've lost a couple. Stalker has gotten rid of J-Doodle, as we saw on screen there, but yeah, Beastie Boys again just going to back up here. They've got the closest spawn, so they can aggress quite quickly here as soon as they get the numbers back up.
This seems to me like it's going to be in waves. you're going to have a wave of attack where you get some picks and push forwards and then get control of the payload
Yeah.
if you're on attack. And then once you take a couple of hits yourself, you're going to have to go back and reset and now look for the jewels again. This is going to come down to a lot of jewels at this stage between these two teams. And now we see Stalker takes out Jelly Doodle. That gives so much more space to Kiri. Kiri gets the kill on Foxy. Foxy's out there. Trizzle can move forwards. Kiri carries on the kill rampage. And this is what we're talking about. Now it's Beastie Boys with that momentum that they can push forwards. Amali and Stalker are still there. Amali is the line of scrimmage setter, if you will. The person who says, we find chat. Amali goes down, gives now a bit of space for Enigma to come back. Toxin Socks comes back, but Kiri yet again from the back line means that Beastie Boys can just resurge with this wave, get that res back up even onto Trizzle on the payload, and Blur trying to now just contest it in the last couple of meters. Nope.
Kiri, man, finding just perfect shots, 12 HP, but no fear as he finds the shots of the critical targets there. Jedidor's decided not to take the duel. His DPS bravado a little bit lacking here, let's say, and maybe for the best. He's making the smart decision as opposed to the DPS duel decision, but this could be a disaster here. Big ulti coming through. Eaten by Vertigo.
It was eaten! Vertigo doesn't even have to be in the Diva to be able to pick up those sort of plays. That could have been a team-wide winning play there. Great thought pattern coming out from Trizzle at the beginning. And with that single grab, Enigma turns around the fight and takes it cleanly to the Beastie Boys.
I mean, that's Vertigo in a nutshell, right? She's not the most explosive player. I mean, pun 100% intended, but she's so consistent. She'll make these big plays, just one right move at the right time. And that's exactly what you need to clean up a team fight here. And, you know, that was through a wall as well. She turned with the shield thingy, whatever that spell is called. God only knows. And she eats it straight through the wall. And really heads up play. Foxy now with her own ulti, and if they're going to choose to come this way, Foxy could find a huge ulti. The Dragon Strike going through this corridor.
Oh, here comes the double gravitic flux though. Both Sigmas up in the air. Jelly Doodle and Fluffy though going to be able to get some damage in here for Enigma. Beastie Boy is going to struggle to carry on here, and in fact Beastie Boy is pinned in the corner now, really taking a lot of crossfire. Still fighting back valiantly. Amali and Stalker, the last ones left alive. But when you're the last ones left, your HP is not as malleable as it used to be and gets taken down quite quickly, proving to be quite brittle at the end there. And Enigma takes us in. Kiri, are you still trying to fight this out? Are you wanting to push this alone? Gets the help from Smiley. Yeah. I don't know if this is a duel you want to take against the Hunter though.
I think with Blur coming back in, they just kind of get back, rejoin the team here, and keep putting the pressure on. But Enigma, man, using the position so effectively here. They've got superior positioning on this high ground. They're set up, and they're shutting them down as they come through, finding key picks. Fluffy especially has been doing such a good job, but the anti-heal come through. If they can take advantage of this, it looks like it should be good. But Tox keeping his teammate alive, but not even Fluffy can stand through all that.
Even Stalker trying to drop those mines in the middle did not really stop that aggression coming in there. And Kiri going to now clean this up. Going to be using that attack visors. Picked up two already. The two supports being the pivotal part of that. Being able to now really clean up anyone else who really wants to contest this at the end here from Enigma. Not going to be able to get back in time.
And the key there was Stalker in the backline, right? We saw him dropping so low, getting pressured, but Blur, he's enough of waiting around here. Coming in now with his ultimate, low and alone. It feels like, I don't know that this was the right decision. He will go down, and the team isn't in position to take advantage. That was a big mistake from the captain, I don't know what he is, the main tank of Enigma there. And now the momentum has shifted completely here, Altruism. Yeah. The front foot here is with the Beastie Boys Again squad, and now they can take advantage of this high ground. Look at that. Set up straight away, and Kiri fires a shot onto Foxy there and allows Stalker to get aggressive as well. Another off bomb. Yummy, says Vertigo, the hungry hippo.
Still, you know, I love these plays. Like this one, being able to save something out of this and allow them to retreat out, but still, Beastie Boys with the aggression. When you're eating a pulse bomb, it's just a fight that's not instantly won kind of thing. It doesn't mean Beastie Boys isn't going to keep it out. And Enigma swapping things up. Foxy coming out on the Sombra, looking for these EMP, looking for these big hacks, trying to shut down Stalker. Toxin Socks taking possession of this high ground here for Enigma means that they can control a lot of the space. Here comes the Gravitic Flux out from the side of Enigma. Vertigo trying to get something just pushes Beastie Boys back, and now starting to take some space. In fact, Smiley, that's not a good position. Ooh, just tucks around the corner. Kiri not so lucky though. As Enigma, you talk about a change in momentum. This has just been a forward walking massacre from Enigma.
Yeah, they've changed it right back here. Enigma have. They've now got momentum. Newt's, I think, considering a switch maybe. No, he's just waiting for healing as Smiley comes out here. Nano Boost at the ready now. A lot of ultis to work with here for Beastie Boys again, for both teams in fact. But the thing is, the rotation from Enigma is going to be so nice with the EMP in the back pocket. Oh, Toxto goes down early. Rally not going to be forthcoming now. Smiley switches onto the Brigitte as well. Kiri finds another.
That is huge. Toxin Socks was trying to get up onto the high ground, got the pathing wrong, and got caught out by the aggression from Beastie Boys. And the pause comes out. This is an interesting timing on this. Mid-tactical visor from Kiri. Everyone from Enigma running backs to their base. And Tox lagging? Okay.
Yeah.
He was really struggling to get up that thing. He tried twice with the shield bash trick to hop up into the high ground. And by the time he got there, he kind of met Trizzle in the face, who had taken control of the high ground.
Cooldowns down as well, yeah. But awkward there for him. It could have been contributed to. Could have been contributed to by the lag, but fingers crossed he can get that sorted out nice and quickly here. But as you say, Kiri, mid ultimate. Okay, we are going to jump back into things right now. Just a momentary lapse here in Tox's internet connection. A moment for us to breathe, Ultram.
No, but look at these ults, man.
Oh yeah, this could be explosive. A minute 11 on the clock here.
Instantly we're back. Here comes Nano Burst. Beastie Boys has kind of won the team fight at least for a second though, right? There we go.
Yeah, they have forced him back now. You can see all the blue players in spawn there. Trizzle need to find an angle here. Need to get something done with this pulse. I'm going to try and give Vertigo a wide berth though. Been doing such an incredible job this series of eating things with that ultimate. And it's much easier with a D matrix than it is with Sigma's whatever spell that is. It's scary with the pressure on. Chance to pop on point though.
Yeah, that was forced out by the Pulse Bomb in the backline. Jelly Doodle going to be trading it out with one of their own and actually picks up more kills. There's also been a big committal of Blur's ultimate here onto the point. The mine's just zoning back Beastie Boys. And so again, the flux goes back and forth. I think there's one more charge here for Beastie Boys, and they've got the resources.
Yeah, but look what Foxy has here. EMP pretty much ready to go here. And he's be careful not to get spotted out. Doing a good job of evading the Beastie Boys again right now, but 91% on the EMP. As soon as that's up, that might spell the end of this game for Beastie Boys again. At least their attack gets spotted out, has to jump back, but 98% on the EMP.
This is going to be big. Now, how does Beastie Boys stay apart from each other? They're going to start it off with the mines on the point. Here comes the EMP sitting on the top. Foxy just sitting, waiting. As Beastie Boys carries on pushing on underneath, Diamonds is out and only actually picks up one Trizzle on the bomb, the Vertigo bomb. I had to sit in wonder for a second as I watched that ticking down, being able to clean up the whole of Beastie Boys effectively on the point, and Enigma stops it, Vertigo stops it in one foul swoop.
Oh no, that was perfectly timed from Enigma there. I said she wasn't explosive, right? And she just proved me wrong. She made me look like an idiot. How rude of her. But absolutely, I think Enigma were sitting in a decent position in that team fight, right? It was a very even back and forth team fight. But Vertigo with that self-destruct just ended it all there. And I think Beastie Boys again are going to be fairly happy with that push, right? They've given themselves a lot to work with on the defense. And I think defensively they've been looking a little bit better here throughout the series in terms of their positioning getting set up. And with how Kiri was playing on the Widowmaker, they might not let Enigma push through this first point. But we're going to have to wait and see. And in fact, Trizzle this time going to be on the Widowmaker. So what a different look here from Beastie Boys again. They've decided that they want Kiri on the Soldier instead. And I think it makes a lot of pressure, right? You can set up a really, really nice sightline here that can punish Blur as he comes in, you know? And I think that might end up being key because these main tanks have been such a big part of this. As we've mentioned so many times, Blur and Stalker making space so well for their teams, and really shutting them down has been a key to winning team fights in a lot of these cases.
Son, I got a quick question for you. How do you feel that the fact that both teams pushed all the way on King's Row is weighing on Beastie Boys right now? They didn't manage to cap it out. They pushed far, but not all the way, and it means Enigma can win this map straight out now if they don't stop it.
I think it's like literally 0 on their mind right now, because I can tell you don't think about the previous maps like that granularly when you're playing a series like this high pressure. All you're thinking about is how do we win Junkertown. Kings Row does
Right.
not matter anymore.
Right. What is happening in this moment right now at the
Exactly.
second? Because yes, I must admit, with these reaction speeds, with these decision makings that these two teams are coming out with constantly, like Vertigo being able to pick up two big plays in one game and in one half, in one real push kind of thing. That's impressive. The fact that's that definitely right now my player of the game so far. Vertigo been
Yeah.
doing so much, and still the rest of the players having to come to the fore now. So far, Beastie Boys coming out superior. Kiri being able to use now the soldier, being able to get so much. Trizzle even gets work done on this Widowmaker. The Widowmaker did well, I would say, on Busan. Wasn't a big enough playmaker, but was consistently getting good picks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Making good use of the space that Stalker was giving him and hitting shots when he needed to, but they just weren't able to clean up quickly enough on
Yeah.
Busan. But now on defense here,
Oh.
of course, Costa
Oh.
comes in there, gets absolutely deleted by Fluffy's Zenyatta there, and now under pressure is the Beastie Boys again. But the res will come out, so they've got a full complement of players now, and they can look to start establishing themselves in the point once again.
Still pressure coming out from Enigma, being able to push forwards.
Oh,
Jelly Doodle gets
what
the
a
kill. That's the space, and that could be everything that Enigma needs. They've taken some space in the side room. We've got Vertigo pushing on the right-hand side for them, and got enough people on the payload to at least keep it moving and force Beastie Boys to engage. That's a brave fly across in the middle of nowhere comes Smiley with the Valkyrie. With you got Widows on both sides,
What's he
friend. I would
doing?
be
Get down!
I would be tucking into every corner. There's shots coming through. Jelly Doodle takes out Trizzle, and that means that there's actually the space now that Smiley could get sniped at any stage if there's an errant play. The res is going to come out there. Res on both sides, in fact. And it's just turned into a game of snipe.
Does feel that way as they look at each other from across the map here. Oh, but Jelly Doodle once again finding Trizzle. He's been getting the better of these trades.
It's the bomb!
He goes down, but the big bomb comes through. But still, Vertigo and Co. with players to spare now.
Oh, Fluffy from the flank! Fluffy, the flanking Zenyatta, comes through and starts putting in damage, actually, from the side. Yeah, force out the Transcendence from Newton. It's really come down to a scrappy lack of team fight presence. Yeah, both teams dwindling in resources, but at this stage, Beastie Boys being able to clean up more prevalently. Still a lot of mobility, and the reinforcements from Vertigo never to be counted out. Vertigo has got that ultimate if they get some sort of pressure going here from the side of Enigma, but Trizzle starts to shut that down. Look at this aggressive position from Trizzle. He stands out in the open, just looking for whatever picks he can get, and only now starts to take it out. And a nice hold coming out from Beastie Boys. A minute left.
Very nice. Oh, Trizzle finds the shot. Just a pixel of head that he could see, and the Widow's Kiss fires off, gets rid of his opposing number. Now, Foxy fires back, though, and I think losing the main tank might be a bigger deal here for the Beastie Boys again. I think that's going to give Enigma the space to move forward now, but some big plays from Beastie Boys again might stop them. The Flux comes out and signs her own death warrant there. Vertigo taken down in the midst of her ulti, has to be rezzed up now as the team pushes forward.
Yeah, Vertigo picked off a little more than I think she could at that stage, but gave space to Blur in the background. Blur didn't manage to get anything, and now we get Kiri with attack visor. Has picked up 2 already. Gonna add 1 to that tally with attack visor. Gonna try to make it a second, just doesn't manage to take out the Tracer on the other side. Foxy gonna turn the favor around, uses the pulse bomb to pick up 2, turns it back on Kiri and says, no, I'm main DPS. Yeah, Enigma is back in the fight with that play. Toxin Sock's gonna go down. So they're down to just a single. Oh no, the mines from Stalker starting to cut off Enigma. Still, Newt gonna be fighting it out. Basically, the 2 supports in the tank left alive from Beastie Boys here against the Transcendence. An aggressive play comes out from Blur to drop those mines down, but there's no one from Beastie Boys wanting to stand in the minefield. They're content to stay on the point. They've got Amali. They've got Smiley back into the fight. Everyone's here. Everyone's in the payload. And Beastie Boys gonna stop it in a full hold.
Oh man, Beastie Boys. I mean, that was such an even map, right? It feels way more even than a full hold. I'm actually thinking about it now, and I'm shocked by that. And here was the moment that prevented it from being a full cap as well. Vertigo with a huge self-destruct. Look at the out charge, gets it up, pops it out. Does she even die? No, she doesn't, just barely. Eventually gets taken down, but a triple kill with a self-destruct to secure that for Enigma. But Beastie Boys again at the end of it all, they come out now with a 2-1 lead in the series. And they looked, as we expected, very, very strong on that point. But we're seeing some mistakes creep in now between the two teams. These chaotic team fights are making it difficult for either team to get a really good footing, and the better defensive positioning in terms of how you rejoin a fight on the first point of Junkertown, I think, really coming into play there. Beastie Boys can come through and pick how exactly they want to approach that, right? Even though they're under pressure from Enigma on the attack, they really feel like you can come through any door you want to. You can take cover and allow your tanks to make space, whereas you feel like you're a lot more front-facing when you're coming out of the attacker's spawn on Junkertown. So that really played out. We saw a couple of players getting picked off by snipes because Drizzle was able to use the space he had effectively to find picks. But that was a really, really interesting map, and I think you kind of, neither team feels like they want to change anything too much, right? You feel like what you're doing can work if you just execute slightly sharper than you were on Junkertown from Enigma's perspective. Similarly, from Beastie Boys again perspective, obviously you won the map, but that wasn't an easy win. You don't feel like you have control of the series here at all. You feel like either map can go either way, and so from Enigma's perspective, they feel like they just need to push a little bit harder, make slightly fewer mistakes, and they'll be able to get that one through.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like you say. I'm amazed that there is the flexibility, though. You know, you talk about they don't want to change off what they know, but yeah, they're keeping something like a wrecking ball, a very key component of their drop. But the rest of the heroes, they go to Junkertown, both teams bring out the snipers. Both teams bring out a Hanzo and Widowmaker and a Zenyatta to just cover those long distances and then work around the wrecking ball. You still keep a certain component, but then flexing the rest of it, and then it comes down to the decisions. I think where Beastie Boys has really been able to push ahead is in their flexibility. You talk about especially when you're on the defense, on first point of Junkertown, there are so many levels that you can step back to. That if you, with those long-range snipers, can eventually just go, okay, I'm under a bit of pressure, I'm going to go back, and you just cover each other, leapfrog back, all the way to even rejoining the fight from those high grounds and those ramparts. It allowed Beastie Boys to really reflexively do that. Enigma not showing that much flexibility, maybe just pushing themselves a little bit too far, but taking too aggressive positions, you know, not just being content with the ground that they've gained at a point. Little decisions. And now it's going to come down to the big one. These two teams have been clashing, and when they clash hard, and they can clash for a long time.
Yeah.
What's the worst map for that?
Volsky Industries.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a rough map.
We're going to Volskaya Industries.
But again, I look at how these maps have been playing out.
No. Let's go to a 5-minute break.
Okay.
I think there's been a lot of action. There's been a lot of intensity. Guys, we're going to be going to a quick 5-minute break. We'll be back with Volskaya Industries. It is Enigma versus Beastie Boys in the Buffalo Cup Grand Finals. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. And what a series it's been so far. We're going to catch the rest of it just after this. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Buffalo Cup Grand Finals, Enigma versus Beastie Boys. So far, 2-1 to Beastie Boys, but even that close scoreline doesn't say how close it really has been. Back and forth, momentum swings, adaptability, and real team fight plays. Big plays from individuals, massive team fight coordinations, everyone playing their parts, and it working quite often enough. That's what I want Sun Phoenix to tell you. Because that was a terrible segue. I
I was gonna
apologize.
say,
That was
the
terrible.
worst intro I've ever heard in my whole life. Altruism, Jesus.
Man,
It's
it's just that this
professional,
action.
professional. You're casting too much Rocket League. Their standards are too low in Rocket League, Altruism. You come here,
Offended.
gotta keep the standards high. Sorry, I'm making enemies where I shouldn't be making enemies, eh? Anyways, yes, this has been a fascinating series. A dynamic and chaotic series, though, I have to say, Altruism. Giving it some thought now in the break, that really has been the standout for me. We've been kind of trying to tease apart the various threads of the chaos that we've been seeing, but that is what stands out to me about this series. Two teams who excel at team play, and when they clash together with compositions like these, it makes the whole mess turn into a tangle of spaghetti, right? If you think about compositions in the past that have been super reliant on heavy team play. You think about stuff like GOATs, for example, right? If you can cast your mind back to the heady days of 2019, right? The Overwatch League season 2 or 3, I'm not sure, I can't remember now. That's the composition you think of as being heavily team play reliant. And then if you were the better team, you would absolutely destroy, you would steamroll, or teams would smack into each other, but it wasn't chaotic like it is when you have compositions centered around
predictable
balls. Exactly. Centered around balls, centered around team fights that are really difficult to read with these compositions, right? And that for me means also identifying what needs to change for either team can be really difficult from within the team's perspective. Do you change Newt back to the Ana? That's what they've chosen to do here. They've now stuck Trizzle on the Ashe. Here that makes a ton of sense here defensively on Volskaya Industries, but they have also stuck Stalker on the Monkey. Now, I almost have the opposite the perspective that I did in their previous series, where I'm like, Stalker's ball wasn't the issue, right? In their previous series, I was like, Stalker's Monkey wasn't the issue. It felt so much stronger. So it's funny how things can change. But I'm interested to see, does this give the teams are the wrong way around, by the way, for those who are paying attention. But will this give them more precision and kind of reduce the chaos going forward? Or will it be more of the same? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, this is the big thing, is, in those GOATs metas, in those double shield metas, in the Genji Blade metas, or the Spinner to Winner meta, there was a clear win condition. Big EMP wins fight or something like that. And as these two teams come out here, and a big initiation comes out from Enigma with a very stable composition, Foxy going to be trying to cause some havoc. Blur getting a big anti-heal. Smiley managing to recoup some losses at the beginning of this. As again, they clash, they poke, they prod, they res, they come back. Jelly Doodle going to be the first permanent casualty, and Toxin Socks quickly afterwards. That was a dangerous res to go for. Kiri following through, being able to pick up a double kill, and it means Beastie Boys can push back quickly. A really nice retaliation. What do you think the win condition is here for both of these teams?
I think it's for Beastie Boys again, it's finding the target and diving precisely, right? I think that's the strength that Monkey gives you. You can pick someone and say, that guy is dead, and you can execute on that. And in this map, it's going to be Fluffy or it's going to be Tox, right? Those are your best targets to get rid of. Tox is going to be tough, but if you can get rid of Fluffy, that's huge power for your team. Enigma, it's sow the seeds of chaos like you've been doing effectively, and picking off targets when they're out of position. That for me has got to be the key here if you're Enigma. Other than that, for Enigma, it's about building ultimates and using them effectively going forward. But that's going to be tough. Beastie Boys are playing very split and very effectively at the moment.
And this is a big play coming out from Beastie Boys, proactively using that nano burst to put some aggression coming in here. And this is the talking about deleting targets. Stalker just walks through with that nano burst and just cleaves apart Enigma, who was stuck in the corridor. And it's like you say, that clean execution, that put that pressure, they get up their ultimates, and look how quickly Beastie Boys has built these ultimates. Just almost 2 ultimates, I would say, ahead of Enigma.
Yeah, but they're also 2 teamfight victories ahead of Enigma, right? So it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense in that way. They've got the Bob now to throw out. Mine's on the point here, I believe, for Blur dropping low. Fluffy once again, and he does drop. Tox is in position here with the Vox to put him down, but Stalker identifies that that's what they want to do, and so he's putting the pressure now on the backline.
No one on the point though. Those mines created so much space that no one from Beastie Boys could really threaten or control. But no one from Enigma went and stood on it at any stage and started to put pressure and make people turn around. And eventually Beastie Boys quite content to push forward, take the back lines. And Enigma really struggled in the back lines, using the ultimates that they need. Stalker just being able to use that primal rage to constantly threaten anyone from Enigma coming in here. Enigma, a minute 18 left on the clock. Now going to be going into that side room. Here comes the Bob. That's going to be into an aggressive position, laying down consistent damage into that side room. You got a Marley pinning on the other side. Here comes Vertigo. Can you get up a big bomb? Nothing coming out of the top of that, unfortunately, there. Everyone from Beastie Boys retaliates back. Enigma manages to buy some space and climb up the stairs, and Beastie Boys just going to be corralling. Here comes the Nano Boost. Here comes the Tactical Visor, committing fully onto this payload. Stand and deliver. Jelly Dude puts up damage. Amali puts a beautiful bomb, even gets Socks, and Socks shoves everyone back.
Deleted.
That lovely bit of deletion at the bottom there. Vertigo is going to go down there. Did manage to pick up Chuzon, now going to be chewed down in Baby Diva form.
Smiley! Oh my god, what a masterful play from Smiley there. Ring around the Rosie, gets around that little AC unit there, gets the res now, and gives the advantage back to Beastie Boys again. Nano Boost onto Kiri, allow him to charge his ulti back nice and quickly, and all of a sudden, the point flips back. I thought it was looking good for Enigma there.
Yeah, Enigma looked great. They pushed out, they committed a lot, and then they kind of got shoved back. Amali controlled the high ground with the Diva Bomb. You had the low ground kind of taken apart, and Smiley again, like you say, being able to take any sort of kills back to your advantage. This is actually big though. Foxy gets the big kill onto Newt. That Anna has been so influential. Smiley going to get that pick back up. Kiri's going to get the Tac Visor out and clear the point and put some damage back. Just keep everyone alive. Here comes Jelly Doodle. Here comes Vertigo. The big bomb. The big bomb. Vertigo picks up 2 with that and turns it around. Enigma may have just been able to grab this point from the verge of overtime.
Oh, Smiley, so unlucky there. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of different ways you can set your settings up now as Mercy. Whether you, when you use the ship, you go to the top. Exactly, right? But it seemed like she was facing one direction, trying to boost to the dead body, and ended up boosting up backwards and ended up dropping to that. And she was playing so well up until that point. Got the res onto Newt, like you said. But Vertigo, once again, striking with the self-destruct, and now they're going to try and use the momentum here. Jaded will almost at an ulti. If they can get rid of Amali's mech, that might be the trigger that Enigma used to push their way through.
Beastie Boys has looked so good up until that one team fight, up until that starting pulse bomb. That really cracked it open there. And Enigma doing a good job to get something like that, gets a small edge into the fight. They're going to have 2.5 minutes to do it. Now, Beastie Boys has looked pretty solid so far. They don't want to give up this first take. Then they have actually. That's a free little bit of added advantage here from Enigma. Enigma has now decided to commit to this. They've started to drop some big ultimates. Amali dropping out that bomb in the back line. Doesn't get anything out of it. Here comes Jelly Doodle attempt with the Tac Visor. Gets chewed down instantly. Instead, it's going to be Kiri's Tac Visor that clears up the point, and Beastie Boys come out of that with maybe less than they wanted to, considering they had to give up that point.
Yeah, I mean, but we've seen them do that, right? That seems to be a part of their game plan. Lean more on holding a strong position as opposed to, and give away a little bit of advantage as opposed to trying to hold on to every single point, you know? They gave it away on Busan all the time and it worked out for them. So maybe that's part of how they play, but Kiri dropping will get raised up here. But Jelly Doodle popping his ulti at the end of that last team fight, really not so great decision making now as the mad monkey on the front line here. Vertigo though fires back. Amali is down now. I bet they wish they had that Tac Visor, but they're going to get rid of Stalker as well. But the fight happening all the way out here means the respawns might be forthcoming in just a nick of time for the Beastie Boys again.
That was 30 or 40 seconds that they bought them, but it's now up to Enigma to see how they can re-engage onto this point. Can they come in and claim it themselves quickly enough? They are spinning and winning on the point right now. Blur being able to get that point ticking over. They've got about half of the next tick, but it's not enough. It really hasn't been able to capitalize upon. Stalker just made so much space at the end of that. They've effectively burnt out, what, a minute and a half of time just by taking that fight so far out with Stalker's ultimate.
Yeah, really heads up play for them. You know, decisive, aggressive play. Sure, they went down, but as you say, buying so much time, and because it was so far forward, you know, 10 seconds of that time, the respawn time, is just Enigma getting back to the point. Trizzle also with some sick shots there, perfectly executing and finding key targets there. Now Kiri under pressure though. He needs Smiley on his back here. Where is Smiley? He's not healed up. He goes down, and that could be a disaster, but they've still got Trizzle in the mix here.
Yes, we've got, oh no, that's big. That's Transcendence on the point. Vertigo just managed to chew through Stalker, who was trying to contest it. And now Beastie Boys doesn't really have anyone who wants to stand on point and stop this. They've dropped the tag visor from the top. No one's going to be able to be there. Marley manages to get back on time. Is going to be dropping that big bomb onto the point, clears it out. It means that Enigma and Beastie Boys kind of on even footing now. Still, Enigma has a lot of players around. Beastie Boys has the respawn advantage, and so they're going to be happy as long as they can drag this out. They just need to keep people around. Smiley goes down, that's big. Toxin Socks though, the pivotal support from the side of Enigma goes down, and the rest of them start falling quickly afterwards. Marley going to go down as well. Vertigo tries to pull out another bomb and clears the point. They capture it.
From almost a full hold there for the Beastie Boys again to second point capped in overtime. Enigma are going to be so happy with that because that was looking pretty tough from the start of that, right? But I was kind of bemoaning Smiley there a little bit, like, you know, where are you? Your soldier's going down. He needs backup. But then I'm reminded that they're running two heroes who are expecting that pocket, right? Because they had the Ash as well. So Trizzle's sitting expecting the Mercy on his back, right? And he in that case did have the Mercy, but Kiri's playing in aggressive position like he's used to having that little bit of extra HP on top of his normal HP from the Mercy healing. So he gets pressure taken down, and from there it's really tough for the Beastie Boys again to fight back. And so credit to Enigma there for identifying a target and executing on that. But mistakes there from Enigma. I thought Jeludol's ultimate there on the soldier in the previous team fight, really almost a panic ulti there. He heard Creary pop his ultimate on the other side, popped his in an instant, but he was under pressure from a nano boosted monkey. He wasn't really going to get away from that. So he instantly dropped, as you say, and just some cracks like that. That's the kind of thing the kind of mistakes that Beastie Boys again aren't really making. And I think that might end up being the difference here. But Enigma, they've got the momentum now. They've got this defense to hold. If they can buy themselves a lot of time, if they can lean on Foxy's Thara here, they might be able to hold this first point.
But you say that Beastie Boys hasn't been making these big mistakes, and this is why I come back to that first free tick that they gave them. That meant that they had far less time to stall. They had to get onto the point. They had to start committing bad resources to fights, and that ended up costing them the match. I'm like I would make an argument for that. It might not be the only factor, and yeah, we can break down team fights. But that first tick eventually did come back to cost them, and so Beastie Boys is now having to double cap Volskaya, and that's not an easy job. You know, Enigma has proven that they can take the fights and they can stall out fights. They can get good picks. Foxy's proving that at the beginning, getting their key pick in the Mercy. No Res going to be able to come out for yourself, and it means that Beastie Boys kind of not being able to push forwards just yet. Enigma happy to chew through this with their chaotic spam damage.
Yeah, it's a fair point you raise about that first tick altruism that I apparently had just... I'm painting my own narrative here, so if you could please stop putting relevant information in.
I'm sorry, is the truth interfering with your narrative?
Yes, no, my narrative is truth independent here. I'm like a Republican, you know? But Beastie Boys again now, they've got this nano boost. Need to look for a target. Probably going to be on Stalker here. Stalker looking for a target to get onto with that nano boost. He goes forward now, nano boost comes through. Who have they gone onto? I'm not quite sure, but Foxy gets taken down by Kiri there. In fact, a mutual kill. Who's going to get the res off? I think that might be key. It's Kiri who gets back into the fight.
Oh, Blur manages to get out on that. Oh no, HP no finally gets taken out. Trizzle tracks him through the air, and it was Beastie Boys. Stalker was looking for the Baptiste, but Fluffy standing on that high ground. Stalker overshoots that a little bit. Now it's going to have to be Beastie Boys trying to clean up from a different angle. Kiri's made a good attempt at the beginning, but that is huge. That is huge, being able to reinforce. Enigma just peeling for each other constantly. Vertigo staying on here, now being reinforced by Blur, who's coming back into this, and that's a go sign. That great little Pile driver just gives Vertigo some space to go forwards and put even more pressure. Now having to flex back. Enigma on the back foot. They should have people coming in soon. Here comes Vertigo. Oh, you're going to pull it off with another bomb. No, it's going to be Jelly Doodle instantly taken out though by Amali. So only the one kill coming out of that tank finds that. Stalker now back into the fight. And this is the person to start cleaving through people. Start picking off the last bit of damage. Putting in the kills. And there we go, carries on, cleans up the Baby Diva, and not even Jelly Doodle going to be able to come through and clean this last bit up.
They came into that with 5 ultimates. Altruism. When Enigma recontested that, they had 5 ultis. Beasty Boy again had 1, but just mistakes on the reinitiation there meant they wasted 3 of those ultimates for nothing, basically. Now Beasty Boys again, they've got the cap, 4 minutes left on the clock, momentum at their backs, and the ult advantage. Blur, recognizing that, he's going to try and break things up here, the combo breaker, make sure they can't just run in with the momentum they gained from capping that first point.
Yeah, Fluffy is going to be a big part of this fight. That immortality field is going to prove pivotal. That amplification matrix to start the fights off. You do not want to be having a nano-boosted Winston with Primal Rage threatening your backline and being able to disrupt that combo by taking out Newt in the beginning of the fight. Creates every bit of space that Enigma needs. Beastie Boys needs to get out. Their combo is broken. They've got lots of ults in the bag. Try again next time, guys.
Yeah, try again next time. But that was not an expensive fight for them, and they pulled out the mines there from Blur, so they can be quite happy with that. When you have 4 minutes on the clock, you're fine throwing a couple of ults away, a couple of fights away here, because if you cap in overtime, you can't lose, or not in overtime, you can't lose, because Enigma capped in overtime. So they're pretty happy here, Beastie Boys again. They just have to play clean. They're going to start with a nano boost here, looking for targets.
Oh no!
Not finding anything. Foxy gets taken down straight away.
And they've got Stalker in the front line. He dived with that nano boost at the moment, but goes down instantly. Didn't get the Primal Rage off. Here comes the Resurrection, though. Stalker's back into the fight. Has got that ultimate, and now can use that Tesla cannon to cleave through anyone. Even the spinning to win Blur is going to be chewed down eventually. Is not actually taking damage too fast. And even now getting the reinforcements. Beastie Boys not going to be able to clear this out. Enigma with the spin to win tactics, the high level mechanics, that is Wrecking Ball, manages to hold that.
Yeah, notoriously high level. Hold down, right click on the center of the point to go around the circles.
I'm creating my own narrative here. Your truth,
sorry,
independent. Thanks.
On the same side here, Altruism, whether our narratives are aligning or not. Enigma, though, that was a pretty big deal. They weathered the storm, right? 4 ultis or 5 ultis used there for Beastie Boys again, and they didn't manage to force through. They did get that 1 tick, though, and with 2 minutes on the clock, there's every chance. If they can cap within a minute here, they'll still be sitting pretty for a draw at least. So they're going to want to do this nice and quick, but now momentum has shifted a little bit here. Enigma, 3 ultis ready to go here. They're going to start off with the bomb, doesn't find anything, but again, more time burned off the clock.
You know, this is the big thing. You talk about when you've got 4 minutes, you don't mind burning a couple of fights. You can't afford to do that too often. You've got to start winning fights if you're Beastie Boys. And at this stage, that's a good start. Stalker takes out Jelly Doodle. Is there going to be a resurrection going to be coming through here? But can they afford to get that Valkyrie away from the fight? Now with Fluffy going down to Stalker as well. And so it's all up to Toxin Socks now to be able to get back into this fight. The rest of Beastie Boys, though, looking so dangerous. Jelly Doodle manages to take down Stalker as he was about to finish him off. And that means Enigma coming back into this fight. Vertigo again drops that bomb into the center of it. Now comes the tank finds out from Jelly Doodle. Smiley manages to take down Vertigo. That's an interesting way to play this. Jelly Doodle kept alive though by that immortality field and his own biotic grenade. Manages to put a lot of pressure on this point and turn a lot of damage back. In fact, finishes off Trizzle. Newt gonna go down, and Amali at the end there. Jelly Doodle stands, fights, and is supported by the team to turn the tide.
Oh my god, the tracking at the end there, Jelly Doodle, relentless aggression or pressure being put on by him there. Small mistake by Tox in that team fight, popped the wrist while moving away from Fluffy, so he ended up going out of range. That could have ended up being a disaster, but great work from Enigma to clean up the targets they needed to there. But the spawn advantage playing out in a big way. Now only 44 seconds on the clock. Kiri's going to have to try and pull some magic out here. He's trying to go around the side angle here with his ultimate, with Smiley on his back. Pops his ulti now. Finds perfect angle to find one.
Kiri just coming out of the side there, popping that ultimate, starting the fight off, getting Toxin Socks down could be the fight that Beastie Boys needs. It needs to be the fight that they have to get at this stage. Newt going to be contributing from his side. Here comes the barrage from above. Foxy takes out Trizzle, doesn't manage to get out alive, sorry. Kiri manages to turn it around now, and with this pressure from Amali in the back lines, is going to be supported eventually. Smiley going to find them, and Now we get Stalker coming in here. Trizzle picks up one with the Deadeye. Jelly Doodle, the main damage dealer from Enigma, goes down. Blur not going to be there to spin and win and maintain this and try and stall this out. It's going to be up to Vertigo to try and stall this out for so long. But Newt, the demolition crew, balls flying everywhere, cleaving through heads. And he carries Beastie Boys to completion.
Yeah, multiple wrecking balls on Beastie Boys again there, but Newt was throwing more than Stalker was. Really impressive stuff from him there. He found a critical pick at the beginning of that as well, I think onto Fluffy, I think it was, that helped force him through. But this is some quick play stuff here, Altruism. You pull yourself together right at the end, so they do end up getting that cap, but everything to play now for both of these teams. A minute apiece here. We could seriously be looking down the barrel of a draw, another draw between these two teams. I think last year we saw like 2 draws in the whole year. We might see 2 draws just between these two teams. So, you know, if there's ever proof that these two teams are so evenly matched, I think we're seeing it right here. But mistakes from both teams here. Maybe the night is getting a bit long in the tooth here. Exhaustion, fatigue starting to come in, but not quite the clean plays we saw on King's Row and on Busan. And that might be the key here. You know, Overwatch is not about playing perfectly. It's about making as few mistakes as possible. And that might be what guides either one of these teams to victory.
Yeah. And as a caster, I'm kind of prone to longer series because it means I get to watch more amazing Overwatch, and that's what we're getting here. Really intense, really high action. But with load shedding coming, I'm not getting to. So guys, I'm looking forward to watching the VOD of this in about 2 hours and 15 minutes time. It's gonna be fantastic. But between these,
jealous.
if you guys are going to be able to carry on with the stream, it's going to be fantastic. I am so jealous that you're getting to watch this live, Sun Phoenix, because this is a fight. This is all the way. Look at these strats coming out. Jelly Doodle has gone for the Sombra. We're going to build an EMP. We're going to win one fight, and we're going to take the first point. That's how we're going to play this, says Enigma. Beastie Boys trying to come through. They've stuck to their old guns. Chisel coming in the air, taking a lot of damage, being constantly supported up here by Smiley. Consistently good player. Here comes their Mortality Field, gets Blur out alive and pins the rest of Beastie Boys actually in that corner. Now they have to fight out. Amali, though, on the point, gets the big D-Mech onto Vertigo. That's going to open up some space. Kiri going to be able to fire down damage. Trizzle as well. Going to be taken down eventually, though. Newt just not being able to heal up, but constantly putting damage out there. Tox and Socks, the rally, the massive play to come back in with the Brigida, though, turns the tide, keeps everyone healed up, and now it's really coming down. The longest overtime of the series so far. Beastie Boys has to try and stall it out. Stalker, you got to get to the point, my friend. As we see Enigma, they're going to clear it out.
They're going to clear it out. They're going to get this first cap. That might be the map over, pretty much, because capping with 1 minute is by no means a foregone conclusion. Got to stay on the point there, boys. Risky play from Vertigo. They're trusting that JD was on the point. And speaking of JD, 75% to the EMP. They might just get the double cap here off the back of that.
Man, I'm telling you, if this comes down to giving away that first point for free, I understand flexing your advantage, but here comes Jelly Doodle, just wanting to farm this up. They've got a minute, they've got 10 seconds left. Here comes the rally. That's the go button. We see Foxy going into the backline, trying to get up something, some sort of pick. Jelly Doodle waiting so patiently. Look at this, just sitting there, waiting for this Vertigo try something. Trizzle going to be laying down some cover to stop the reinforcements from coming to the point. Overtime is ticked down, so both teams have to stick around here. Enigma has to keep Blur on this point. Gonna be chewed down too quickly. Kiri doing too much job. There comes the EMP, but there's no one there to follow it up. Beastie Boys holds the second point at least. There's one tick left. Don't give it away now. Enigma still, though. One full cap.
One full cap. That's critical, man. I'm surprised at how late that EMP came out, and it wasn't because he was not in position. He just didn't get the charge until when he popped it. So kind of not able to find the damage to get, what was it, just 25% of that EMP that he needed at the start of that. I think what probably happened, he probably went in, got pressured out, and then spent the rest of the time trying to run back into the team fight. You know how it goes.
He sat in the corner for a long time. I think he was wanting to just like get one full clip into someone, burn up the EMP in the mid-fight, and then pop it. But there was just no opportunity. Beastie Boys kind of ran away from him off the point, and they ran to the choke point and then dropped the big barrages and stuff like that, and so held that second point. But still, the fact that Enigma got through 1 point, Beastie Boys, chances? As a betting man,
Chances?
you got 30 seconds. Give me your breakdown of what's happening.
Beastie Boys has been pretty hot, man. Beastie Boys again. I think, remember, if they cap this first point, it's a draw at least. So that is the question. Can they cap this first point? And if they just find one pick at the wrong time, right? That could be the key. They could open it up. Kiri gets a shot onto the Farad. That's the go time. But this time, they don't have that precise dive that they got from Stalker's Monkey. Instead, they're going to go for the Wrecking Ball here. They're going to lean into the Chaos. And I don't know if that's the right choice here. You need sharp play if you're going to push through here with only a minute on the clock.
That's the beauty of chaos, is if it works, it's brilliance. If it doesn't work, it's stupidity. And there goes Stalker at the beginning of the fight. That is not the way you want to start it off. You talk about a pick coming out at the wrong time. It came from the counter Soldier 76 instead. Now it's giving Blur some space, but Blur being chewed through as well. Blur gonna go down.
Taken down.
And there is the counter. Both of these balls just not respecting the amount of damage coming out from both of these teams. And here comes Stalker. Stalker's back into the fight, pinging around, looking for Vertigo. Vertigo trying to threaten out Trizzle on the high ground, but Jelly Doodle now getting pressured. Oh, there's Stalker. Both Marley and Stalker go on top of him, and Fluffy now pressure on this high ground. Has got some backup now. The rest of Beastie Boys has made their way to the point and firing damage in from afar. You got the sustain from Smiley and Newt. You got the damage coming in here. You pick a target, you get a Discord orb on them, and Fluffy goes down. A great res coming off the edge there. That's actually a big play. Toxin Socks being able to get that, tries for the super jump onto the high ground, not going to be able to get out instead. That could have actually been huge, but it does look like Beastie Boy is going to be able to actually cap this out. Vertigo, never count them out, but he's going to lose the mech too fast to do anything, and it looks like we are going to go to points number 2.
Look how many ultis they have, Altruism. They've got 3, 4, almost 5 ultis to play with in this next fight. Deadeye, I mean, they're not the world's best artists. Deadeye is not really likely to do that much, but it's going to buy space for them, allow them to get a pulse bomb. Pulse bomb here, Trizzle, can he find the angle here? He finds a target, he goes for it straight away, doesn't find a good stick, but it doesn't matter.
Gets the pick on Jelly Doodle. That's a good start, and Beastie Boys has managed to survive. They've got the Valkyrie up. Stalker falling very low, does manage to get out, and the rest of Beastie Boys now going to threaten the point. They can push forward at any stage. Trizzle is going to be standing on it. Backed out by Stalker. Here comes the Immortality Field. It's not enough. They don't step on the point.
They got what?
They don't step on the point.
Oh no! Boys and girls. Oh. That was, yeah, this is good analysis from SP right here, but what can you say about that one, man? Oh.
Okay, so unfortunately for Enigma, they had it. I mean, they were coming back in, but let's be fair. They didn't have a lot. They were trying to scramble back into the fight. They dropped the Immortality Field. Like, I still think Beastie Boys had a great shot at that, but Beastie Boys just were so on the point and they just pushed so hard. They were like, okay, everyone's coming from this side. Everyone, shoot that way. Just go.
Yeah.
And then, like, no one was brave enough to step forward because they knew, like, I think it was a conscious decision, and in some respects, that you don't step forward, because if you step forward, you die. Like, it's a pretty natural reaction, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
absolutely.
Not do that.
But now you 3-1. You know, natural reaction or not, you're in a bit of a you're on the back foot here, and you have to win out. You've got to win three maps in a row to take the series. And Beastie Boys again not look like a team that are going to let you win 3 games in a row. But Enigma, they've got everything to play for here. They really aren't. Just hold on. I don't want them to start because we have to go to a break here quickly. All right, guys. We'll be back after this because some people are punishing us by having load shedding at the wrong time.
It's my fault, guys. I apologize.
So we'll see you in 2 minutes.
Good evening, tanks, healers, and damage dealers. This is a bit of a surprise for you guys. You don't get to hear my voice on this side of the world very often, but I'm going to be taking over Ultrasen's position here as we get started. Hey, Sun Phoenix, how you doing?
I mean, I've been here. Everyone knows how I'm doing. I'm doing well. This is an awesome game so far. Super exciting. Super excited to have Peach on the mic for the first time, in a million years. Right at the 11th hour, decides to sweep in and take over the grandest match of them all. But looking forward to see how this closes out. Beasty Boys again, 3-1 up over Enigma, and I mean, here you go. Peach, your first team fight is already almost finished.
Yeah, I see. So Blur going in with the pile driver, getting up the first pick into Kiri here, giving Enigma the potential to go in and clean it up before the point even manages to unlock, as we see them holding off this initial door here. Now going onto the point to cap, while Beastie Boys regains their positioning. Ult's already coming halfway online here. Sun, give us a little bit of a breakdown quick.
Yeah, really, strong again. Decisive play from Enigma. That's what we've been seeing out of them. Really playing well off the back of Blur here and doing so effectively on this first team fight. And we know how important it is to win the first fight on control. They've got advantage of the point now. Clock ticking up. Blur close to the mines, close-ish to the mines. But more importantly, putting pressure on the backline. Stalker doing the same.
And now we're seeing Blur going with the pile driver here to put a little bit of disruption in the backline as Vertigo gets demeched by Amali, but that doesn't mean that Blur is going to stop his unrelentless just disruption, which means that Amali is also going to be losing his mech now. Stalker going in instead, trying to cause some disruption, and gets himself killed. Super unlucky, but while all of that is happening, Amali does manage to get remech. And that means that Beastie Boys is going to be able to stabilize themselves. Kiri going in with the pulse bomb, manages to pick up 2. Beastie Boys now getting the absolute upside here for this team fight, giving them probably a quick point cap here, but Enigma unrelentless in their defense. They're going to be trying to hold onto this 53% on the way now. We see the Deadeye coming out from Trizzle here on the Cole Cassidy. The point does manage to flip with Trizzle getting the last bit of cleanup kills, and that means Enigma is going to be resetting their strategy.
Yeah, really special stuff from Kiri there. He kind of had to come in and, the pressure was building for Beastie Boys again, but he turns the release valve there with that pulse bomb, gets the double and cleans up. We're so used to seeing Trizzle on this this hero, this Tracer. Apparently it's my first time seeing this hero, and instead it's going to be him on the McCree now, the Cole Cassidy, and it seems to be working really well for them now as Foxy. Quick pressure in from the off angle and Blur. He drops first to start things off.
Indeed, and as we see Stalker going in and now capitalizing on that advantage of being the only main tank left alive, meaning that Beastie Boys is just able to go right through and sweep up, putting so much pressure on Enigma that Enigma have just basically said, look, we respect it, we're going to back out a little bit and we're going to give some space, make sure we regroup efficiently.
Yeah, nice patient play, but now they're going to come in with a lot of ultis. 4 ultis in the bag here. Foxy close to the pulse bomb as well, so this is Enigma's moment to strike back here as things get evened out percentage-wise. Ready to start us off here. Bomb coming through from Vertigo as well.
Vertigo doesn't manage to find anybody with the bomb. Amali coming with the kickback with the bomb, looking to see Tox doesn't manage to block it. No, that's so unlucky. Fluffy now being forced to use the Transcendence just to keep everybody afloat in this fight. Of course, Tox used his rally, so some people do have a little bit of armor. The counter back Transcendence coming out from Loot now, meaning that Beastie Boys is in. Oh, the stick from Kieran to Jelly Doodle here. High Noon coming out from the Cole Cassidy Trizzle. A little bit of a waste there. I think you probably won that fight already, but you know what? It's fine. High Noon isn't as big of a value as an ult as most of the other ones, so yeah, I'll forgive you though. I'll forgive you.
Speaking of waste here though, Enigma, 3 ults, 4, 5 ults thrown into their team fight. Nothing to show for it as the clock ticks over 90% now. Last chance saloon here for Beastie Boys again, or rather for Enigma. They have to clean this up. They're on the back foot. Pile driver start from Blur. Minefield almost at the ready, and that could open things up for the red team.
Big picks coming here from Foxy with the fire raining in from all the angles that Beastie Boys are not expecting. Fluffy managing to get the headshot onto Kiri, meaning that they're going to be able to clean this up, but that doesn't mean that Beastie Boys is not going to go out with a fight. They do manage to pick up 2 on the way out, but Stalker coming in onto the point, dies on this immediately. Point flips back into Enigma's favor. Beastie Boys now resetting.
Oh, deep breath here, Peach. It's really frantic pace that these teams are setting right now. Smiley dropping a little bit low here as the pressure gets put on. But Enigma, they're in control now. The Beastie Boys have time, 70% on the clock. They can afford to take some time, build some ultis before they go in. But Kiri strikes first, gets rid of the Vertigo straight away.
And indeed, Kiri getting that huge pick, meaning that Enigma doesn't have the chance for the peel, and that gives a clear pathway for Beastie Boys to come right back to the point, take the control that was originally theirs. Discord onto Tox and Sox. He's not going to be able to make it out alive out of this one. Smiley having to pop that Valkyrie just to ensure that they get to the point. Now in overtime, Vertigo coming in with the touch, immediately Discord, it's stunned. D-Mech, all the Ds right there. Blur coming up to the point, does manage to touch it just before it goes all the way down, but he's not going to be able to survive too long. That's a lie. Marley putting the bomb onto point, making sure that people can't touch, but that doesn't stop them. Kiri now getting the kill onto Fluffy with the huge headshot. Marley picking up off Jelly Doodle, Stalker onto the Blur, and that just is a big cleanup on the side of Beastie Boys.
Yeah, frantic stuff there. Enigma really had to kind of go for that extra gear there to try and get back. Vertigo having to go so far forward, so close to our ulti as well. But that Discord orb, man, is making such a big difference here for Beastie Boys again. They're really using that to chunk through the opposing tanks. Blur and Vertigo struggling to find a way to just stay alive. But Kiri as well on that Tracer, an absolute dominator on that map. Constantly finding picks, putting Fluffy and co under pressure on the backline. So really, really strong stuff from Beastie Boys again. But now a completely different map, a completely different look here for Enigma. They're going to look to go for a much more brawly style. Once again, stand up behind Jelly Doodle's Symmetra and Blur's Reinhardt. But we saw how this worked, or rather didn't work, on Mecha Base. So we'll have to see whether Enigma can execute a bit more effectively on this map. If they lose this, Peach, it's all over. It's victory in the Buffalo Cup for Beastie Boys again.
Indeed, but you see Enigma here getting the strong start, being the speedier comp to getting to the main section where they can hold. Now, bunkering down a little bit. It's a little bit weird for a brawl comp, but you kind of have to play it that way into Beastie Boys' comp here. But now they're putting on the pressure. Vertigo going right in there with
nice.
Foxy
Really
managed to pick up
nice
Trizzle. Absolutely massive pick to begin this out. Vertigo picking up Nunu, meaning that they've got no more proper support line in the background other than Smiley. Stalker now moving to the point, but Enigma going to hard focus him as he goes there, killing him almost immediately. Now flipping the point in Enigma's favor and putting Beastie Boys back in their spawn.
Yeah, very, very sharp play from Enigma there. We saw how they lost Jelly Doodle early on, right? But he can get back to point quite quickly with the help of his teleporter. And once they identified their win condition, their target, we saw how they jumped in on that with the boost, the speed boost from Lucio, Blur, and the Junkrat getting on top. And the Junkrat is a key part of this right now, holding down these choke points. But as I say that, Nunu finds the pick once again.
And the Transcendent's coming out here right now just to make sure that they stay alive. Blur manages to get a couple with his shadow, charges right in, but that's not before two people are killed right before he goes in with that suicide charge. Now Enigma trying to hold this point as much as they can, but they're not going to be able to do that just as well as they would hope. Now sending Enigma back to the spawn, giving Beastie Boys the pressure with this comp.
Yeah, now they can move forward, but they don't have quite as good choke control as Enigma did. And although we saw how well it worked for Enigma in that previous team fight, slash not well at all, and no ults for Enigma. This is not looking good for them. They're going to have to come through here, but look at the angle. The Pharaoh's able to take Rock Barrage at the ready as well. This could be a really strong fight for Beastie Boys again.
Oh my gosh, ults flying left, right, and center. There's probably four things that just happened. Trizzle kills himself, presumably on the wall. Super unfortunate, the bomb coming from Amali does manage to find one. Kiri manages to pick up two with the tack visor, meaning that, oh my gosh, Kiri picking up the 4K. Smiley does get the res off on Trizzle as well, just giving them that extra advantage. And that concludes that team fight immediately. How fast was that, son?
Yo, explosive stuff there. So many ultis coming in at pretty much the same moment there. But once the dust settles, it's Beastie Boys again, still in control. Now with a 10% advantage on the clock here. Enigma, they have to take the point back, and they have to take it back soon. You know how strong Beastie Boys again are at the end of this. And now the bomb going to go through. Vertigo to try and open things up.
Sunbearer going through to make sure that Enigma can make it out of that choke in time. Stalker dropping the mines here, hoping to pick up couple. He does manage to pick up Tux, and Trizzle picks up Jelly Doodle at the same time. Now Enigma stuck inside of the dark room. Vertigo picks up a Marley there, but they're not able to leave that dark room. They've got pressure coming in from all the different angles with the Pharaoh, with the Stalker. Stalker, as I say, picks up the kill, the power driver kill onto Fluffy there. Enigma kind of is in a rough spot here. They're kind of half between being engaging and also not really at the same time. Tox gets the boom of Newt on off of the map. Blow going with the shatter.
She's gonna fall for a bit.
Drizzle! What? Okay, that just happened. That just happened. Blow now trying to keep himself alive, and Point goes with the suicide charge. Doesn't end up suiciding. That is a surprise. We don't really know what is happening. He's kind of more far forward than everybody else. The window is popped down to try and keep him alive. But the point still hasn't necessarily flipped. 97, 98%. Rip Blur indeed. Now Enigma trying to hold this point, see if they can flip it. Although they do not have as much of a numbers advantage. Here comes Smiley out now with the Valkyrie. The pulse bomb coming out, doesn't manage to find anybody. No. Justice coming, raining from above. Trizzle gets to Trance used to keep the team alive, making sure that Trizzle can pop off Chisel picking up. That's the third kill, I think. I haven't actually been counting. Blow now trying to the spin to win strategy to make sure that he can keep this point staying in overtime as long as possible for his team to regroup. I mean, I don't know. His team is coming very slowly. There we go. Blow manages to finally go down, but not before 3 players on Enigma side comes. Bomb coming out from Amali, gets Vertigo out of her mech. Foxy now coming onto the point.
Oh,
And that's it. That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
Oh my goodness! You know, it was looking so back and forth for so long, but
I wasn't sure what was gonna happen.
the Beastie Boys just came into the control map here, Lijiang Tower, and they decided this is how they're going to win the Buffalo Cup. They're going to play the comp that works best for them. They're going to put the pressure on Enigma, force them into awkward position, find the picks at the perfect time, and just clean things up. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. The champions of the first Cowser Cup, the Buffalo Cup, is going to be the Beastie Boys again. We expected, Peach, the Beastie Boys to win this tournament, but we were not expecting it to be this Beastie Boys.
Yeah, well, you know, like all of us saw the other Beastie Boys team going in looking really strong, and when that semifinals hit last week, everyone was shocked. So seeing this team taking on Enigma, who did actually manage to beat the other Beastie Boys, you know, that's this really like I don't want to use the word twisted, but I'm gonna use the word twisted. It was like this really twisted story that was created right from the very beginning to now. Beastie Boys again are your Buffalo Cup champions. I cannot believe this. This is actually like. Also, I'm actually just really thankful I get to use those words myself for a change.
Yeah. You know, I'm looking at the time here and I'm thinking Altruism could have finished this out, right? It's 9:59. He could have stuck around if we'd known Beastie Boys were going to come out so strong out of the gate. And of course, we have to remember that Newt has load shedding at 10 o'clock as well. So they knew themselves that they had to win this one or they were going to be in trouble going forward. And I mean, with the wind at their back, they forced their way through.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, like that was honestly, even though I wasn't there for the whole game, it was an absolute blast to be watching from the sidelines, even with the however many minutes delay. I don't even know what it is anymore. But you know, honestly, seeing all these different plays coming out from all the different people, from Vertigo, from Jelly, from Kiri, from Trizzle, all these players, from Newt, from Smiley, you know, they made such a huge impact in this game. And you know, again, it's something that's probably going to feel a little bit weird coming from me, son. But who would you say is the player of the match of this game, and then afterwards of probably the tournament as itself?
Oh gosh, that's hard.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna throw that one at you. We can decide on it together if you want.
Okay, well, I was thinking throughout that I'll decide this match, and then we can talk about the whole tournament. But I was thinking about the series and who was standing out to me, and it really comes down to 3 players, right? Because you know what was picked from the winning team, right?
Of course, it's tradition at this point.
Exactly. So for me, it comes down to 3 players. It comes down to Stalker, it comes down to Kiri, it comes down to Newt, right? One player from each of the roles on Beastie Boys again that stood out really in a big way. They were the key triumvirate for this team, that if they were getting picks, if they were making plays in a team fight, Beastie Boys again had a pretty good chance of finding their way through that team fight. So at the end of it all, who do we pick as the best of those 3? I mean, that's the hard question, right? That's the hard one.
Oh, no, that's a very hard question.
I'm going to give some love to the supports here. I think you could make it a strong case for any 3 players, right? A really strong case. But for me, I'm going to say it is Newt for me. He really stood out this series. We know that he is a core of the decision making on the squad, and we know that he is a stellar flex support as well. He really stood out on the Zen. He was making big plays on the honor as well, and for me, he was the man of the match for this series, the grand finals of the Buffalo Cup.
I completely agree with you there, son. And I mean, you know, thinking back to the time that I've gotten to, even though I haven't been on a team with him, the amount of pug sessions and just comp games and just in general being with him, I know how much of an impact he can have in a comp session as being the shot caller, the tactician, the strategist, whatever you want to call it. He is there. He does those jobs perfectly. And honestly, I couldn't say that I would agree with you any more than Newt being out of those 3. But like you said, they can all have a really good argument for being the player of the match. Chat, let us know in the chat who you think was your player of the match, because I would actually love to see. We're probably not going to be able to read it because of the delay, but you know, I would still love to see who you guys have been rooting for this series and who you think stood out the most. But now, son, moving on is the big one. You know, we've seen, I probably should have counted them before I came here, but we've seen countless of games spanning over the last probably 8 or 9 weeks now at this point of games from how many teams? We had 10 teams. We had 10 teams sign up. And, you know, out of all of those teams, right from the beginning, it doesn't have to be from today's winners. Which players do you think have showed themselves to be worthy of trying to get up to this point, at least?
Well, I mean, for me, thinking about player of the tournament, right? For me, the player of the tournament comes from the team of the tournament.
Oh, no, of
In my
course.
humble
Of
opinion,
course.
right? You know my rules; they are hard. I'm basically a boomer stuck in my ways, right? And for me, looking at the player that colored this team the most, that I think defines this team's play style and how they approach games, maybe not in the sense of he's the one deciding how they play, but rather the player who you look to as a kind of kernel of their play style, the core of their play style. And for me, that is absolutely on this team 100% Stalker, right? He has been the front line. He's the tip of the spear, as he had been in the past for teams like Vanguard, and then more recently teams like 2CP. He's the player that the team rallies behind. He's the one making space. So he's making Kiri look like the superstar that Kiri is, because Kiri is getting all the space to work with in the world. He's making the supports look like superstars because of the space he's making for them. And now, obviously, Overwatch is a complex game, and you can argue from any perspective. Kiri is making Stalker look like a superstar. Newt's making Stalker look like a superstar. Smiley, an incredible mercy in her own right, and Trizzle has been no slouch on that DPS role. Really made Trizzle looks worse because his teammates are so incredible around him, right? There's nothing to say about Trizzle's actual skill in game, but this is a team for me. Oh, let's jump into some random lobby game there. This is for me. I look at this team and I think this team is built around Stalker and his playstyle. So for me, the standout for me this whole tournament is Stalker. His first big tournament victory, in his career, and I think the whole team deserves to be shouted out. But you made me pick one, so I'm going to pick the one.
Of course, and I 100% agree with you there. Stalker being the backbone of probably any of the teams it's been in. I mean, when you mentioned Vanguard earlier, you gave me a little bit of nostalgia. Oh my goodness, going back to last year, seeing where Stalker started and then seeing how he progressed through all of the teams that he went through to end up here in the Grand Finals team. Honestly, something that is actually amazing. And I believe we're going to look to... No, we're not going to. Son, can you make up your mind there in that text channel? Okay, cool. So that being said, Stalker, player of the tournament, Newt, player of the match, has been an amazing series, best of 7, 4-1 in the favor of Beastie Boys again. Mm-hmm. That has been your conclusion to the Buffalo Cup. And I hope all of you had a really good time. Son, do you have any last words or comments you want to put in here before we start doing all of our regular signing off stuff?
I just want to say thanks to the community for making the Buffalo Cup as successful as it was. This is Kyle's first time putting on an actual competitive tournament. Of course, we put on, I mean, at this point, tens of community cups, and we've been involved in the planning and running of local tournaments. But this is the first time we put our own name on this, and I think, and Peach, you can attest this. We're quite happy with how it all turned out. I think it was, quite a success actually, and I'm thankful to all the teams who took part and gave it their all. I'm thankful for the community who supports us and allows us to put on tournaments like this, and we hope to put them on again in the future. So big thanks to the tournament, the teams who took part, all the players in the community who were involved, all the people watching, even if you weren't playing, and then of course to my own team of admins who took planning all of this and putting it all together. Guys, if you are thankful to them, don't hesitate to show your appreciation for the people who were involved in planning this. But yeah, thanks so much for being involved, guys. It really was a very successful tournament, and we're very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There are lots of hours of work put into planning this tournament, right from when we started all the way until it finishing right now. And I can't say that I am any more proud of where I stood on this team and happy with the people that I work with. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys so much. Both the admin team, the community who has made this tournament possible by still showing your interest in Overwatch, pushing it there to its last legs, letting the South African Overwatch community strive to be what it can be at its maximum potential. So I would like to say my own personal thank you to all of you guys as well, especially here being the first time and probably last time that I'm ever going to be on camera, but we're not going to talk about that right now. San Felix, my dude, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Sun Phoenix on Twitter. I tweet about all manner of things. You know, yes, that's where you can find me on Twitter. SUNPHEONYX.
All right, and for me, you can find me at the Pizza Day on both, well, literally anywhere. If you looked up the Pizza Day, you're probably going to find me via Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, anything. You'll find me there. I promise you. And in the
Instagram,
backlines here,
OnlyFans, TikTok.
no, maybe not OnlyFans. You'll find me on TikTok, and you'll find me on, or
Not
you won't.
yet.
Okay, okay, son. In any case, just want to check with you if you can quickly read your Discord messages if you want to make sure we're
I'm
not going to
deciding.
do.
Yeah, let's
You're
do it.
deciding. You want to
Let's
do
do
it? You want to? Okay. Are you going to
Let's
ask the
do it.
first question? I hope you're going to ask the first question. We can bring him in.
Oh,
I
it's
think
gonna be a banger, Peach.
it's going to be a banger. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Stalker, the player of the tournament here, joining us in the voice channel. How are you doing, Stalker?
Yo, what is up? I am chilling. I feel good.
You feel good. You better feel good, right? This
Feel
is
good.
your first major victory. Talk to us a little bit about how you're feeling after coming off that one.
I'm feeling quite good. I don't know if you noticed, I was doing a bit of trolling, jumping off the map, so I was getting into it. I was quite upset though because
Mhm.
we called for like, well, not we called Enigma. They said like Vertigo had to go do something for like a couple of minutes, so I
Mhm.
queued into a game of Clash Royale on my phone, and then instantly everyone readied up, so we had to go into the game. So I had to immediately leave the game. So on Clash Royale,
Oh,
but
that's
it's
a
That
bit
cool.
of a
is
pity.
It's
It
tragic.
is.
That's actually so tragic.
It is.
I don't know what a game of Clash Royale, like what the outcome of losing is, but if somebody could reimburse Stalker there for that, it's really disastrous. And then Stalker, I mean, you mentioned Enigma, right? Your opponents. Now that's a team as part of 2CP that you're very familiar with. You know, you were coached by
Yes.
Blur, or at least the team was. Does it add a bit of extra sauce on top, a little bit of extra spice that your first tournament victory comes through beating them in the grand finals?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like, because I know the players, so like, it's not like just some random people I'm playing against. So it's always
Yeah.
fun to verse people that you know. I also kind of feel bad for beating them, but at the same time, it is what it is.
But at the same
Uh,
time, not
course.
really.
Yeah,
Like
at the
even
same
I
time, it
don't
feels
feel
even
bad.
better. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, they're cool
uh,
players.
Yeah, of course. Now, leading up to this time, you just heard, right? Probably on the stream, or maybe not in the stream. Maybe you heard it for the first time when you weren't here. But you're the player of the tournament. I want to know how you're feeling about that.
Okay, hold on. You're the
You've been
player of the tournament as decided literally by me in this
yeah,
live.
so by
So
Sun, but it's fine because there's literally a channel point redemption for Sun to wink at you. So anything that Sun says
Sweet.
is pretty much golden at this point. So I want to know, how are you feeling about being crowned that title by the one and the only Sun Phoenix, right? Yeah.
I'd like to thank my mom.
mm.
I don't know. I feel pretty good. I don't know. Like, play of the whole tournament. That's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. And you're being the backbone of this entire team. You've had such an impact. And I can only imagine your calls, your comms, your actual mechanics itself. Not just any player can get to this point. And I can only imagine what it must be getting in preparation for this. And maybe you could give us a little bit of insight into your preparation for this game, even though you've
Um,
already won it. But yeah.
so I scrim like 3 times a week with like a European team,
Mm.
and then we do like a VOD review once a week. So I do like 4 like days of Overwatch with like an EU team. But then like prior to like every like match I play, I'll do like 10 minutes in a custom game just warming up like Winston. Even though I don't play the hero, he's kind of a dead hero. Like
Mhm.
still warming up the mechanics on him, hopes like warm up all the other heroes. So it gets you into like the mood.
Yeah, of
Awesome.
And then
course.
yeah.
And then last question from me, this is a relatively new roster. Obviously, Beastie Boys again kind of brought in as a sister team of the main Beastie Boys squad. Talk me through what it was like beating them in your previous match, in the upper bracket finals, and then what it's been like playing with this squad of players. A bunch of up and coming superstars from different teams. What was it like bringing them all together and playing with them?
It's actually kind of crazy because when we first formed, I was like, I thought we were quite good, but I didn't know how good we were yet. So
Hmm.
we played like a scrim versus the main Beastie Boys Bros roster, and like after the first game, I was like, okay, we're quite good. We can like win.
Yeah.
So we lost that scrim like 3-2 or whatever. It was quite close, but then like ever since that was like our first game we ever played together, and we lost 3-2 to Beastie Boys in the scrim, and then we've never scrimmed again since then. But like we've been playing matches since, and yeah, we've been synergizing like really well. And when we went into that Beastie Boys Bros game, I was like, yeah, guys, we're gonna win this, okay? Like, don't even think about losing. Like, this is literally a free win. Uh, After the 3-0, I dropped the easy. But yeah, it was a good game.
Of course. Of course. Coming off of that game, I can only imagine how hyped you guys must have been. And that was a good game to watch, I will admit. So thank you very much, Stalker. Where can we find you on social media? Just that people can go give you all the follows, the likes, the subscribes, whatever it is you want, you can have it. Where do we
That's
find you?
Stalker OW on Twitter. ST4LK3ROW. Same for Twitch.
It's the fourth
And you-
three.
Oh my god, sorry. Smiley just reminded me in the chat now that you got dunked on by Farah when you were on Vanguard, and now look at you, all grown
Farah
up.
abusing.
Yeah.
No more
Product-
Farah abusers anymore. Anyways, thank you so much, Mr. Stalker or Mr. Fork 3 OW. And we hope to be seeing you in the next season of Overwatch.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And you already heard right before we started the interview where you can hear Sun Phoenix. Sun Phoenix, do you want to repeat it or should we just go straight to where Scars is from?
At Sun Phoenix on Twitter.
At-
SUNPHEONYX. Spell it correctly, incorrectly, please.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, wherever. And I'm going to say it again. The Peach Today. Pretty easy to spell. But man of the hour here for me, Mr. Scars himself. I wish he had a mic here so that he could say a few words of his own. But
Well,
he
he
is
does have
honestly
a
been
mic,
doing.
but we just can't hear him.
Yeah, well, we can't hear him, but he's honestly been doing the God's work, being able to take over the production role from Mr. Myself right here. Oh wow, there
Now,
he
let's
is.
hear
Wait,
let's hear something from Scars here.
let's hear the first time we're ever having a producer speak on stream. How are you doing, Scars?
Oh,
Oh,
Speak
or
on.
not?
I am doing very well.
hi,
You're
there
doing
you go.
very
I
well.
think you
There
can
we
hear him.
go.
Sounds the same to me as usual. I have no idea.
But honestly, Scars, you've been doing such a great job. So for once in our production history, I would like to thank you personally and also let you promote yourself instead of us having to do it for you.
Yeah.
Not because I don't know your social media
At
handles.
Scars on the full game.
No. You know what, Peach? Because this is your last time, I think you should do it for me.
Oh dear Lord, you're gonna really make me do that. You know, I'm totally not trying to stall for time right now. Trying to
Yeah,
find
I know it.
Scars
I
underscore
learned it,
gaming
this
on
is
Twitcher.
my bread and
I'm
butter.
sure you
On
know.
Twitcher.
I know. It's Scars
On
underscore
Twitcher.
Gaming on Twitcher. Yes, Twitch and on Twitter. You can go follow him there. He also plays for RQ Legacy, right there being the captain. So make sure you go follow all of those things. And yeah, Scars, are there any words you want to say before you head out? I'm asking Scars first before you, son. You can hold your horses, okay?
It's always enjoyable to produce and listen to the casters go absolutely mental while I sit here drinking some tea and pushing buttons.
Yeah,
Of
because
course.
producing is notoriously the easiest part of this whole process, right?
The hardest part is getting everything
Sometimes.
set up for the cast.
Yeah, true.
Once the
Yeah, I
cast
can
is
agree with
going,
that
it is the
100%.
easiest thing ever. You can literally kick your feet up.
Yeah. Just press a couple buttons, the F1 to F12 keys using a controller or your
Yeah,
spacebar, whatever it is.
exactly.
Quite a nice
Easy
roll.
peasy.
Speaking of which, if there's anybody out there, we do need more producers because
Oh,
Scars
yeah.
and I cannot handle this alone. So please let this be a cry, not a call, a cry for producers.
We
But
are
anyways, thanks so much,
desperate.
Scars. Yeah, we're quite desperate. Yes, Sun Phoenix, do you have any last words you want to say before we head out?
I just to reiterate, thanks everyone for who's been involved at any level, whether it's supporting the tournament, playing in the tournament, or organizing the tournament. Everyone coming together to make this happen. Just thanks again to everyone for that.
Indeed. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and watching. All you tanks, your tank main. Oh, I just forgot my slogan. Tanks, healers, and damage dealers, the kings, queens, and killing machines. Thank you so much. This has been twitch.tv/ZOverwatch, competitive Overwatch South Africa. Whatever it is you want, make sure you join the Discord for all your future updates on Overwatch as we start to look into maybe the Talent Cup coming out in a couple, I don't know, however long time. Eyes. And then also for Overwatch 2, which has been
Oh,
delayed.
how about
but hope-
Overwatch 2, bro?
we don't know what's going on there. But
Okay.
whatever it is, season 2022 holds for
Too
us.
soon,
We're going to be
Peach,
there,
too
so make sure
soon.
you join. Too soon? Okay, I'm sorry. Well, make sure you join all of our social medias and Discord channels so that you can keep updated with what happens for the Talent Cup and for season 2022. This has been Peach, Sun, Scars, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, everyone.